Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Death by Gaming is back, and we are back with a fury here as we tune in for the winners bracket semifinals. Team that picks up the win in this best of three series will be going to our championship round of the losers bracket circuit. With us tonight, we have the two teams on our blue side, Undecided Gaming, and on our purple side, North Korean Gaming, aka NKG. Casting for you tonight is myself, Comrade Kilbasa, and next to me, Brian, unused name Stallardino. How are we doing, Stallard?
What's up, Matt? So Mr. Kabasa, tell me a little bit about these teams. I'm not very sure what I'm getting into here.
All right. Well, I mean, we did kind of black bag you out of off the street and put you in a white van and drive you over here. So I will give you the rundown here as we get through our bands and into our picks here. We've got side we do have Undecided Gaming. Undecided Gaming has really run rampant throughout the winners bracket. They haven't faced a serious challenge from anybody except for potentially in the mid game against Sons of Wolf, which was a game which Sons of Wolf later claimed was made so rough by lag. But that's another issue for another time. Of course, if teams that lose will make excuses. NKG had a bit of a rougher road. They rolled right through the early couple of rounds, and then they faced off against Riot Please, who really outlaned them. But NKG held strong, took objectives, and rallied to turn the gold deficit completely around.
I remember seeing
On
this
its
game.
head.
That was a very surprising upset.
It was indeed the star power coming out Riot Please was just unprecedented. But here we are going into picks and bans. Better go through the rundowns for these. Coming out on the bans in this first game for Undecided, Fizz, Gragas, and Kassadin all banned out, probably looking out to ban out the mid laner, Albi. He has performed extremely well, particularly on Gragas in
And
these
that's
games.
to be expected. I know Gragas, his ratios, especially with his ultimate, are always really heavy hitting. So people usually want to avoid having to deal with that in the first place.
Indeed. And then for NKG, the bans were Leona, Dr. Mundo, and Shyvana, focusing a little bit on that tanky meta that's sort of taken the league by storm right now.
Yeah, those are two very popular bands, the Mundo and the Shyvana, because we've been seeing a lot of that in ranked play on the professional level, haven't we?
Indeed, we have, and on the LCS, certainly. Although usually you see one team ban Mundo, one team ban a Shyvana, but we'll bear with them for this game. First round of picks is, of course, in Undecided, first picking Renekton, and purple side, NKG already locking in that Lee Sin and that Thresh, who we will be seeing here. Thresh, of course, always a very popular pick since he came out.
What kind of bottom lane duo do you think is going to go with this Thresh? Because generally a lot of ADCs can work with him, but I'm not sure what to expect.
Well, we've seen a lot of Caitlyn in this tournament. We've seen some Vaynes here and there, but they haven't done overly well. Of course, Lucian, Jinx are the big two to look out for. And a
Hmm.
little bit of Sivir here on the side, at least in professional play. We're seeing a lot of Sivir play when Lucian
Now,
and
a
Jinx
common
are already down.
complaint has been about Jinx, people saying that, oh, she's been seen in a lot of ranked matches, a lot of ranked play. So it's usually a common ban, at least in the lower echelon. So we're seeing a Jinx today.
Well, Exceptional's hovering over an Ashe. He might be taking us for a ride, but if NKG does lock in this Ashe, that could make for a very interesting laning phase, and now he's just going to troll us, hover over Sivir, and he will lock in Caitlyn. I am truly the second coming of Nostradamus, seeing this coming in already. Lots of poke coming in from that lane. Thresh and Caitlyn. Oof.
And it was a very good prediction there. I can't say I saw it coming.
Well, we are seeing Singed hovered over by O'Jonathan. That will be Diddly Hole in the top lane, who will likely be on that one. He played that last week, actually, against Riot Please, and had a really rough early game, but continued to apply pressure and push down towers, really holding with their turret-centric strategy. So that'll be an interesting pick, see whether he can do a little bit better in laning phase this time around against this Renekton.
I mean, objective play also always has a big part in games, especially if it's a team that's like Riot Please, that's used to hitting hard and pretty much just demoralizing the other team. If they're losing objectives, that morale is it's not going to be going down as low as you'd think it would.
Undecided, of course, hovering over a couple of different picks. They did lock in a Lulu for Stevie, and Sivir Yi Tibbers looks like he's going to go with the Elise Jungle. Of course, Stevie showed a lot of skill on Nami, landed a lot of double bubbles a couple games back, but here he's looking at the Lulu pick, and that's definitely a team fight centric pick.
I've been seeing a lot from Lulu recently too. Lulu play with the recent support changes has become a lot more popular because they can build her a little bit more heavy hitting, a little bit tankier, and stays around in a team fight. That's going to be a nasty team fight.
Nasty team fight. Of course, that ultimate wild growth, so key, and really just a great way to peel for this Tristana, which I need to QQ was brought in here. That will likely go over onto NA Stanley, who's been their AD carry so far. Delirious Korean, formerly known as Night Fury 367. We can no longer have a Night Furious individual in these games, but he has locked in Zed, who is a Shadow champion. I'm taking this pun somewhere. Someone save me. The train's going to wreck soon. But we do have Zed and Tristana both locked in, so this looks like a heavy late-game comp coming out here from Undecided.
Probably How do you think they're going to wind up drawing it out with this game? It's like we said, it might be a very, very objective-based game, and if it is, if they're pushing objectives quickly, it might be a shorter game. That might not be a good decision for them.
Well, we're going to have to see how NKG decides to play this one. They did lock in a Syndra for Kalbi, and Beefmeister is just going to be bringing these balls to the fights, and it's really going to be interesting to see who wins that middle lane. Zed, of course, with tremendous assassination potential, but Syndra, a lane-dominant champion.
It seems like a pretty solid skill matchup. I would personally be leaning towards in the Zed's favor, but if this Syndra really knows where she's doing and where to place things, it might go pretty much the other way. It's 50-50.
It's 50-50. Well, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt and see who can do what they need to do. Our teams, however, are picked in here. We'll give you the quick rundown of the rosters coming in for Undecided. In the top lane is I Need to QQ. Playing Renekton, the jungler, Sivir Yi Tibbers on Elise, the mid laner, Korean, formerly known as Night Furious, on Zed. And in the bot lane, Stevie and Stanley on Lulu and Tristana. Their opponents on NKG, Diddly Hole in the top lane on Singed, with Jonathan on that Lee Sin jungle, Kalbi in the mid lane on Syndra, and Thresh Caitlyn on Exceptional and Zhong in the bottom lane. Looks like we're going to have an explosive matchup for you guys coming out right here. But we are into spectator delay, so we're going to take a short break, play you guys some wonderful music. I hear our cameraman has something lovely queued up for us today, and we'll be back with you guys in a bit. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, on to Summoner's Rift are we, and we are ready to go in what should be an explosive winners bracket semifinals matchup in the Death by Gaming tournament here. And of course, as is the natural progression, we should be talking about the Skin War Quadra skins coming out for both teams, Exceptional and Delirious Korean, formerly known as Night Fury, both dropping the ball for their teams, not bringing the skins to the battle.
And more importantly, I've noticed that we have no Lunar Revel skins coming out right now, which is, I mean, come on, get in the holiday spirit.
It looks like we may have an engage here. Uh-oh, Delirious Korean may face check this.
There's the hook into the
Now
Tribush.
comes all the damage. A Sonic Strike going down onto him. He may go down. He will be first blood over onto Calby, and I need a QQ.
That
taking a lot of damage. Here comes Diddley Hole. This is going south in a hurry for Undecided. North Korean Gaming going in hard. Oh, Jonathan with another play. Big time plays coming out here. That was a bit of a crazy level 1 engage. They both level 1 invaded from the same side of River Bush. Tell me what you saw. That was a lot of plays
coming out of Jonathan. He landed some really solid resonant strikes both times to pretty much finish off who he was going for.
Oh, a pair of kills over on that one. One over onto Kalbi, and the other going onto Jonathan. They ought to have a great start to this game. What a set of plays coming out for NKG. That's how you set momentum. Of course, using his gold to pick up a pink ward, Jonathan will, and he will drop that in the bush between his blue buff and the opposing Wraith camp. Probably looking to control vision in that river. Keep a nice steady hand on things.
I think we're going to have to expect a lot of aggressive ward placement coming out from this team. And Jonathan starting it off nice and quick.
That is a nice way to start it. Of course, if we look over at Kalby's starting using his money that he brought home from the party on a Fairy Charm, a ward, and some extra potions. So a lot of nice strength coming out from them already. Another thing to notice, we don't have any sweeping lenses in this game so far. Just straight ward trinkets.
Which might not be a terrible idea. I mean, you could always swap out trinkets at any time, so...
Oh, we do have a hook down into bot lane onto Stanley, and NA Stanley taken very low. That's just the Q, but the barrier's saving it. Stanley hanging on by the skin of his little Yordle teeth. And Diddley Hole jumped on, and top lane, this is just getting messy in a hurry. They're just not going to let us talk. You'll get a sense for this, Stallard, as we go further into this one.
I'm learning quickly.
They will not let us talk. Jonathan now in here, and they're going in hard on the QQ. He will go down. The kill going over onto Jonathan, and
looks like some quickly spammed pots to mitigate that that ignite that went out on Diddley Hole.
Heady play from Diddley Hole to avoid giving the putback kill. You don't want too much offensive rebounding going on when you get a gank. And now another one! A gank onto Kalby here from Sivir Yi and Delirious Korean. They're putting a lot of damage on Kalby, and Kalby running for his life. There's the repel. This should be the venomous bite, and down he will go. Finally, a kill on the board for Undecided. It will go over on to Sivir Yi. Ugh. They aren't giving us a chance to take a break, are they, Stallard?
Not at all. You are going to be running out of breath. Looks like we have an initiate by Lee Sin on mid.
Well, it's not got a whole lot coming from it. Delirious Korean is going to get away. We do have important thing to notice. That first back cost Stanley quite a bit. He's now down 13 CS here, and Sivir Yi going to try and get him back in the mix here. A lot of damage going down onto jungle. Jungle getting away. Here's the repel. The venomous bite could be there. It's a kill. Sivir Yi. Oh.
That ignite is ticking away, but I don't think it's going to work out. And it doesn't.
It will not. Exceptional chasing, trying to pick up some sort of vengeance, and Jonathan is here. And Stevie could be in a lot of trouble here. He has no mana. Just trying to get away. There is no resonating strike on him. It landed onto Stanley, so Stevie and Sivir both going to get away from this one. Just as I was trying to explain how little they would let us talk in this one.
And now we have Kalby moving in on bottom lane. She's gonna try to land.
Well, he went for the kill there. He got pinged out. And Stanley could be in trouble here. This is bad. There's the Ignite. There's the rocket jump to try and get out, but these Syndra auto attacks are just too much for his little Yordle body. And it's a rough day to be named Stanley.
Interestingly, AP mids generally always have very high base attack damage, just to help out with those auto attacks in the beginning of the game. So auto attacks coming out from a mid are not to be...
Oh, Calby missed his flash there. That was close. Now Sivir Yi giving chase.
There's that Resident
Jonathan
Strike.
Also very low, but they get the return kill! Oh, and a Glitter Lance from Stevie going to pick up the vengeance on that one. But that was, again, it's a very scary play coming out from Jonathan. He looks like he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Do I see a Lee Sin ban in the future in the next game?
It looks like he is basically establishing himself as a Lee Sin not to be trifled with, but at the same time, this Lulu is telling everyone, my early game damage, you don't want to mess with.
Well, of course, that is something to keep in mind. Lulu, very poke heavy, of course. The combination from Hell really was Lulu Caitlyn pushing down towers so quickly in the early game.
Which is just disappointing because she's so adorable. There's an easy game, top and pop.
Ooh, and Diddly Hole will pop like a ripe watermelon. I wish I could speak right now. That would really help my job, but unfortunate to see a Singed go down that quickly. It's almost like he just gave up on life. Obliterated. This has been a really exciting game so far, though. Lots of roaming, lots of kills. I mean, we've already got 9. There's only 7 minutes.
We're only 7 minutes in, too.
Yeah, it's more than a kill a minute.
This is nice. I had a really, really boring day, and now this.
Well, they're fighting here on bot lane. Jung taking a lot of return damage, exceptional also. Stevie, of course, has been extremely solid in this tournament. He's played very well. As we're also going to see Calby get this blue buff, but...
And if you notice that exchange, they came out just about even. But Lulu lost a lot of mana from that one.
A lot of mana lost on that Lulu. Well, it's not going to make much of a difference here. Jonathan and Co. going on to the dragon, and they hook
There's the
Stevie.
hook on Stevie.
Going to ward. He will wild growth himself. Lots of damage coming down. Jonathan picking up his 4th kill of the game. Lots of fun here. Diddly Hole also going in onto I need a QQ on top lane. Diddly Hole, can he pull quite enough? Not really. But QQ taken very low. And that is the first dragon of the game going over in favor of NKG, sticking to their strategy. Dragons and towers, baby. Dragons and towers.
This is actually the first time I've seen the winter-based Singe skin. And I gotta say, that is a very, very pretty Trail of Death.
Probably the prettiest Trail of Death you'll have ever seen in your life. I bet you couldn't make a better one if you tried.
I kind of want to follow it. Renekton, don't follow it.
Don't chase Singe, they say. But how can you not when he's got sparkly particle effects like that? I need a QQ. He's messing with the bull by grabbing it by the horns here. He's really trying to get aggressive on the Singed early.
Now, the easy sustain of Renekton does make this quite a farm lane, because even though Singed can dish out the punishment as he farms, Renekton equally can sustain as he farms.
Yep. Well, here goes the gank in on the Calby here. They are sitting on that mid lane. Ignite ticking on Delirious. He will get out, though. Another heady potion here is a Sonic Wave onto QQ, and this may be a mistake. Nope, he can jump, because he's Lee Sin. About time we talk a little bit about vision here in this game. We do have
Elise is going in. We've got Shivy Tivers trying to get Jonathan. Lands a snare, but nothing else from it.
Unfortunate. Trying to pick up some return gold here. Diddly Hole ghosting in to try and get onto QQ, the sparkly Trail of Death. It's also sparkly. It's doing so much damage, but QQ gonna get out. Jonathan sort of hanging out on the wings, and Sivir Yi taking a lot of damage here. The first miss.
The flip pulls him away from the Resident Spike.
That's unfortunate. Eevee getting hooked again on bot lane here. We're having This is an action-packed game if ever I've seen one. And a lot of damage, though, coming out here.
There
There's
goes
a
that
knock-up.
Lulu.
Exhaust down on the Jung, but here's the box from Exceptional. A follow-up hook, and Stevie popping his flash, but he may be dead here. This just looks very bad for Stevie. He might go down. Jung gonna pop barrier, and the kill picked up by Exceptional. But Jung also gonna go down. The auto attack follows him across the map, but Colby's here. He will pick up the kill onto Stanley. And that will be a 2-for-1.
Had that Piltover Peacemaker landed, it would have been slightly different, but unfortunately, the damage did not go out.
Well, Delirious Korean now down here to hold the lane, and he's going in onto Colby. He dodged the hook using his death mark, and now he will run away, as only a Zed can, by melting into Shadow. And he is going to eat an Ignite and an auto attack! Exceptional! What an exceptional kill! Oh, you couldn't pay me to make a worse pun than that. I am so sorry.
I was actually very impressed.
Well, I guess Delirious Korean is quickly figuring out that he is not on the side of True Korea in this one. True Korea has no use for Delirious Koreans.
That was actually one of my own curiosities. I'm wondering where this team is actually from.
Probably Flushing, if I had to guess.
I was gonna say Flushing.
They are a New York League of Legends team, so probably Flushing, but I mean, I don't want to offend anybody, and so I'll just say it and then quickly retract that thought.
I mean, Flushing's a beautiful place. I've done a lot of, drank a lot of soju there. That's about all I can say I've done.
And they're just karaoke. There's just karaoke for days.
So much karaoke,
really
and
great.
we've got nice even exchanges going on. But looks like Jonathan wants to do something bottom lane.
But Jonathan getting caught here in the bottom lane. This is really dicey. This looks like a 4v3 potential tower dive. They did blind Undecided in that tri-brush. NKG wants this tower. It's at under 300 health. It's very weak. This is how they play the game. They're gonna try for this one.
Thresh just lands the hook, but he pulls Caitlyn in to deal more damage, but there goes the Lulu ult.
These... Oh, here is the Delirious Korean saying, yours is not the true Korea, and down will go Jung, who considers himself a true Korean with his Korean name. Exceptional! Getting picked up by Sivri. Too much Korea in this game. I can't even handle it right now. We even have a half Korean caster. That would be me. I mean, my mind is blown. That was a good fight, though. Good fight going over there for Undecided.
There's the Cinder ult, and
Delirious Korean getting killed into a pause.
Into a pause.
And Jung going to back out of this game. He's apparently got lag issues. He's going to restart his client and return. And there goes Exceptional, too.
Interesting. We've just lost the entire bottom lane.
Well, let's take a moment to talk about some vision here. We are seeing very good vision control in the river coming out from NKG here. Tell me what you're seeing in this sort of ward placement, right? What is this prioritizing here?
I mean, over by the river, it's pretty obvious that they're just trying to guard the dragon, which isn't even up right now, but the timer's clicking down. But, I mean, more importantly, if you look at the red buff, there's a ton of wards over there. We've got pinks out, we have sight wards, and that's a very defensive play. I think they're just expecting Lee Sin to try to steal Lisa's red at one point. Soon to come. Might get an easy catch with that, and come back with break it out to a nice 9-9 kill-wise.
Well, if they can get the pick, it will certainly help their cause. Of course, the gold gap only about 1,800 gold in favor of North Korean gaming right now, as Exceptional reconnects. I mean, the farm's pretty straightforward and even. Items are looking pretty even. The kills are everywhere, but top lane, that's pretty straightforward and even throughout the entire game. Of course, we do have an 036 Caitlyn. Lots of assist gold on her. I guess it's support Caitlyn time, right?
Assist goals, you should never, you should never pass it by because it looks like Caitlyn's not doing so hot, but in the other way around, that assist goal has helped a lot, and we're right back into the game.
We are right back into the game, and we get to see the tail end of Kalbi's unleashed power flying home onto Delirious Korean. Korean actually escaped that, but the caster minions, as we all know, purple caster minions are so broken OP, and they cleaned it up for Kalbi there, gave him the kill.
And now Tibbers has to cover mid. I always notice that, when junglers are covering a lane, they do get a lot out of it. They get gold, but that also tells the other jungler that they're not going to be near their buffs anytime soon. Thankfully for Tibbers right now, all her buffs are gone. She has them, but that's a good indication for other junglers, and they can get a better sense of timers and things of that sort.
Well, certainly. That looks like the play they were looking for, though, for Undecided here. Sivir Yi going to jump onto Exceptional, but here is Jung, and they're going to put a lot of damage down onto Sivir Yi. Stevie and Stanley rotating up as Jonathan solos this dragon. He is in full view of the enemy. There's the death sentence in the box! This is the team fight they're looking for, possibly, except they're going to back off. There's a lot of backing and forwarding, and here is Diddley Hole. Oh, he gets Buster Shot into Stevie, who is now in a very bad way, as Exceptional picks up the kill on the Dragon, and Jonathan picking up the kill onto Stevie, so a very good trade there, coming over as NA Stanley getting Sonic waved. Things are getting very, very dicey here. The mid tower now in trouble, and it will go down. I mean, this looks like every NKG game I have ever seen. They just kill towers and kill dragons. Ooh. Oh, and there's the death mark down on a Jung coming out from Delirious Korean. He doesn't have enough damage to follow it up, though. Here comes the snipe from Jung. Not enough on it, and there's still 4 members of NKG here sitting on this mid tower. Well, now they're going to back off, though. If we do look, though, at Delirious Korean, he just doesn't quite have that level of Zed burst that you're looking for yet. You try to get that Blade of the Ruined King early, but he also has a Brutalizer for cooldown reduction, and without Blade of the Ruined King, very difficult to get the full rotation on your ult to kill someone in one shot.
The 2 kills we have seen out of him were both more so secures than anything else, but at the same time, that's keeping him in play.
It is, of course, very important to feed your Zed on a regular basis to ensure that he can stay, I guess, relevant in the grand scheme of things. And these look like... Ooh, that's a Sonic Strike and a dive onto I Need a QQ, and there's the Dominus pop by him. He's going to be throwing stuns down, and Diddley Hole doing the same thing. A lot of damage
going out on Diddley Hole.
Ooh, he's taking a lot of damage, and he's just going to make out. It's unfortunate. Cocoon just couldn't quite land, but this could be the top tower in favor of I Need a QQ and Undecided.
If you look, Jung was just about to be, even as her tower was getting pushed, but Thresh said, hey, come on, I'm coming here, we're going to try to initiate, but we have Mist Hook.
Missed death sentence, but Kalbi is here. He's got a lot of damage. They could dive this tower. It's at probably 1 or 2 auto attacks worth of
stun.
Health, and what a great unleashed power coming out from Kalbi, but Exceptional's in deep trouble now. And he will get cleaned up by the Delirious Korean janitor. And Kalbi getting death marked onto here. He could be in very deep trouble being made. That's a double kill over on the Delirious Korean. The shutdown money from that Syndra going onto the Ninja Man. And Jung just going to go back to base and reevaluate his career choices. Oh, no, he will not. He's going to fake me out. Try to defend this tower. We'll see if he can do it.
At the same time, Lulu does not have growth up, so looks like they are going to lose the tower. It's 2 kills in a tower.
That was quite the turnaround on that tower dive. I mean, you would have figured. I mean, that tower is sitting there with 29 health for Undecided. But a nice
It
way
looks
to
like
turn
we
it
have
around.
about a 4K gold gap.
4,000 gold at this point in the game. Probably not a huge difference, but you can certainly tell the dragons in particular and the tower difference, which actually isn't a difference at all. It's actually even. So the dragons are beginning to tell. It's 2 dragons and 2 kills in favor of NKG, giving them that gold gap. Along with the CS, actually. They're up across the board in minion kills, except on
There is
support.
that vision on that red buff, which is dropping down on
Jonathan. Oh, Jonathan. Goodbye, Jonathan.
That has to be the proudest moment of my very brief casting career. I called it.
Truly, we have a pair of Nostradamuses. Would we be Nostradamus? I think that's the real question here. Is Jung and Exceptional trying to fend off Sivir, Stevie, and Stanley, of course.
That glitter
Exceptional being
lance
taken
dropping
very
just
low.
enough.
Fully morphed, and the boxes. Delirious Korean picks up a very close kill on mid lane onto Kalbi, and they're still fighting here in this bottom lane. Can they pick up the kills? Exceptional goes down. Jung polymorphed barriers, trying to pick up kills here. He's taking them so low. Can he continue to keep
got
up
no
a good
mana.
fight? I'm not sure he can. So low. Oh, the venomous spider leg exploded. An explosion
All
of
of them are
sadness.
just over 100 health.
Oh. Well, the flash Q from O Jonathan is going to get the return kill onto Sivir Yi. That's a rough day for him. And if we look over at O Jonathan now, he's 6-2-2.
And he's still looking for kills. He's fishing. He's diving the towers.
Well, Diddley
Override
Hole
the
now
bottom
running
inhibitor.
away and doing the Singe thing, the sparkly trail of death, doing its due.
Oh,
And
Jonathan
yeah,
on
Jonathan
Stevie too, he
diving
gets
the
a double kill.
base. 2 kills and shut down gold onto the opposing Lulu. That's I guess you could type worth for that one. We'll give him the worth for that one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you want one place that shut down gold to go, it would have to be on Lulu.
Well, we're hitting another slight lull here, so let's talk a little bit about the items we're seeing coming out from these guys, except the dragon pings are coming down, but I'm not sure that Undecide's going to contest this one.
Conrad, they're not going to let you have a low. They see a low, they're going to go do dragon, because like you said, they really like their priorities.
Well, that will be their 3rd dragon, and though we're tied up in kills, it is a 5,000 gold gap in favor of
Seems
North
to be all
Korean
about those
gaming.
objectives.
I guess you could call it that Korean objective style based gaming. Or objective based style of gaming.
So now we're looking at Undecided. They're down in gold, so we could... What are a couple ways that they could get back into this? I mean, right now they're getting pushed to towers really hard. We've got 2 on top currently right now. Oh, Jonathan and Diddley Hole pushing I Need QQ.
Well, I need QQ in for a lot of hurt, but it's very easy here to back him up. If Undecided can slow this game down a little bit, and it's really been furious, 30 kills in 22 minutes, I mean, that's just crazy talk right now, but they've got to try and win some of these dragons. They have to win dragons, and QQ needs to start to become a little bit more relevant in this game. He's not done a whole lot except farm in top lane, which will inherently favor Singed, who has teleport.
As the game does go later, though, we might see some turnarounds over by Baron. They basically just need more objective control than they currently have. And we've got...
They're going to need some champion control first, and it doesn't look like they're going to get any as a
Double
kill going
kill
over
right
each
there.
to Kalbi and O Jonathan. Is Diddley Hole going to get death marked, and he will pop again like a ripe watermelon, and Korean going to pick up the double kill, actually. As the engage goes down on bot lane, a death sentence, an Exceptional missing the death sentence there, but the flays are being made, and Jung
Turning
picking
some
up
kills
a lot
around.
of damage. Snipe! And And that's really unfortunate. Stanley walking back into that fight and dying. But it looks like the hope of untrue Korea will be the delirious Korean. Can he try and get a tower put back here?
Looks like he's going to trade a top tower for a bottom inner.
Well, when you lose your bottom inner tower, of course we all saw the Reddit posts. Bottom lane is now the prioritized lane, especially as you get into the later parts of the game. It is the lane that is furthest from Baron, and with the boost to super minion pushes and the erasure of the bonus to minion pushing in other lanes when you get an inhibitor down, bottom lane is the lane you want to kill quickly as possible. NKG accomplishing that here.
It shows too, NKG has a lot of aggressive warding down in bottom lane's jungle. Again, over by the red buff.
This is true. They are really dominating this game in terms of objective play. We'll see when they decide to make their next move. It looks like they're going to close in onto I need to QQ, but they do see the undecided players are waltzing around a bit here. You can see, though, a lot of aggressive wards, yeah, in that bot lane, deep into Undecided's jungle. As Exceptional going to hook Stanley here, and he's in trouble, going to pop his Talisman of Ascension, and now he decides he's going to go in, as Diddley Hole is here, and Jung as well, so it's a 4v3, but Jonathan now here as well, and he's going to dive deep onto Stevie. I don't know if he can pick up the kill. Yes, he will. Jonathan getting the kill over there onto Stevie, and Jung picking up the kill onto Sivir Yi. A double kill for Jonathan, but here's the Delirious Korean putting a lot of damage onto him, but he cleansed the death mark, and this is going to be Jung coming up big. And now Jonathan making a lot of plays, and here comes the snipe and an ace in favor of NKG. They have now picked up 5 for 1.
I saw the death sentence coming out from Exceptional, utterly missing and hitting a Elise Spiderling. And somehow that didn't matter. Everything wound up turning around.
Well, this is going to be the middle inhibitor right here, possibly. At least the inhibitor tower. I don't think that they have enough star power in their hands right now to do much more with this. Kalbi putting a lot of damage onto Stanley, who's just had a rough day. Unleashed power. Very dead Stanley. Exceptional getting jumped on. And it looks like... Oh,
Jonathan going back
Jonathan hopping into the opposing base again, and Jung getting picked up by Sivir Yi, return kill. Or getting picked up by the opposing team. I mean, this game has just been chaos. They stuck around, they fought back-to-back
such a bully in team fights.
He really has been, I mean...
That's one of the beauties of Lee Sin. He can go deep into a team and wind up coming right back out to the other end to defend both his opponents and dive deep.
I mean, he has just been
defending
doing so
his teammates, I should say.
He has just been doing so much work in this game. I mean, Jonathan probably has to be our MVP pick for this one so far.
No contest.
Well, the gold gap now sits at a solid 13,000 gold in NKG's favor. I would say that was probably the explosive team fight that turned this game decisively. But we'll see if Undecided has something left in the bag of tricks. They have looked rather, if I may, indecisive in this one almost. Not a lot of objective pushes coming out from them. And
the assist pings coming out for mid.
Well, they are going to look to try and make a play onto this mid lane here, but NKG is strong, and they're using their Talisman Ascension. Diddley Hole coming in from the opposite side, and using that Insanity Potion. Delirious Korean immediately blown up. This is going to be really bad. This could be the judgment of the righteous here. Stevie now the next one to go down. He will be the kill over onto Jung. This could be the game. That's a 2-for-0.
Those snowflakes of death. It's just, you can't argue with it, especially since he's been farming so heavily all game. He's been able to get really tanky and really damaging, and I honestly didn't even see him come in until it was too late. I would have been just as caught as they were, and I have full vision of the map.
Well, that was a sexy little toss into the into the death sentence as Jung just sort of walks up and kills Exceptional. There's another kill for Jung. Jung now 9-4-14. He's had a very good day for himself, but Delirious Korean gonna try to pick up a kill in favor of his true Korea, and he will. Jung gets shut down, and Exceptional gonna speed his teammates out of there. I need a QQ trying to come back into this one, but...
And Diddleyhole's still around to help really defend their retreat. I thought he was going to go down to Elise, but again, Jonathan came out of nowhere to catch the Spiderling for him.
They are just... Oh, Jonathan caught in the back half of his back, and he will get back to base. But, okay, so let's talk a little bit about how we look forward into the next game, because this looks like we're getting close to the conclusion. If you are undecided, what do you want to do in the next game to try and keep your mentality right and pick up a win, extend this series?
Honestly, I mean, the one thing I can see myself doing immediately is banning Lee Sin. This is just...
Yep.
Jonathan has been a game changer this entire game. Yes, his team is playing exceptionally well, very aggressive warding. They just seem more synced right now, but it's Jonathan who's really turning things around even when they seem to not go so much in his team's favor. And I would really not want that Lee Sin in his hands again.
This is true. Of course, it should be noted, Jonathan is not their starting jungler. Their starting jungler not present for this game. Having a family obligation. Jung, the substitute AD carry. Jonathan normally plays that spot. You have to wonder how deep his champion pool is. So if they do ban Lee Sin, who will he play next?
Exactly. And generally,
Nice.
I mean, Lee Sin, he's a counter-jungling jungler, and we've got a big fight going on.
Well, this is a huge team fight. Jonathan just getting tossed around. He could be in a deep trouble, but he picked up the kill on a Stanley. Double kill actually coming in for QQ, but he could be in big trouble here. It's been a 3-for-2 so far in favor of NKG. It might just be too little too late. Kalbi.
And that ace in a hole was just not doing enough for our need QQ. Did not wind up taking him out. And now he can come back at full health to defend.
Oh, that is the surrender
There goes the
coming
GG.
out from Undecided Gaming. They will give this one over to North Korean Gaming and look to just move into their next game. So while we wait to get that one set up after that, really just a decisive win for North Korean Gaming and True Korea, we will be taking a short break while we get the next game set up, and we'll talk a little bit more about how things are going to go moving forward in this series as we come into the next game in Champion Select. We'll be back in a bit. All right, well, ladies
All
and gentlemen,
right.
after that extremely exciting and very decisive win for NKG in the first game, we have had the team switch sides. We will be going into our second game of this best of three series. Of course, I'm Comrade Kilbasa. With me here is Stallardino, aka an unused name. Stallard, what does Undecided have to do to get themselves back in this game?
I'm actually undecided on what undecided has to do. The only
Oh, that
thing
hurt.
I had to do it, but the only thing that I really like, they know that their enemy is going to be pushing objectives the entire time. We see this really strong objective control. So honestly, I want to expect more defensive sweeping. Like you said early on, they didn't start out with any sweepers, and that really aggressive ward placement wound up hurting them a lot.
Well, of course, we did see quite a few fights in that bottom side jungle, and they tended to go NKG's way. Of course, we are into our pick and ban phase here, and there's no Lee Sin ban so far coming out. Undecided banned Gragas, Fizz, and Thresh again. Again, looking to attack Diddley Hole, but also taking a look at Exceptional, saying, you know what, Exceptional, you weren't so bad. Let's get rid of that. And just trying to target the mid lane again. But
Do you think we'll be seeing another Lee Sin?
I mean, if NKG might just go with another Lee Sin pick. It depends really on how broad Jonathan's champion pool is.
And also, it should largely depend on who the enemy jungler is. Like Lee Sin, he's a counter jungler. He's there to make the enemy jungler's life a little bit harder. And in Elise's case, you know, without your blue buff and without getting enough camps quickly, you can fall behind really fast. But if they pick a jungler that's not as heavily dependent on those things, and who's going to be making a lot more lane presence, they might want to pick a different jungler themselves.
Well, he is going to prove you wrong and lock in Lee Sin immediately. But let's talk about NKG's bans really quick here. They pretty much banned out the trifecta of top laners, Mundo, Shyvana, and Renekton, all being taken out of play here. I mean, they're just eliminating tanks at this point. They just have something against people who stack HP and tanky stuff.
Apparently, they're not fans of buying Blade of the Rune King.
Well, maybe they're not, but such is life sometimes. Sometimes you just don't want to spend the money to pick up that Blade of the Ruined King. Of course, now we're sort of working into the picks here. Of course, we're quite deep into them, but had to talk about some bans first. We do have so far locked in for NKG that Kassadin, which was banned last game, coming out. Kalbi going to, or not Kalbi. Yes, Kalbi going to be the man on that Kassadin. We did mention, of course, that it was a champion that we have seen previously on Delirious Korean. But now we're going to get to see Kalbi playing Kassadin, and I'm excited to see how it goes.
Now, Kalbi played a really, really well Syndra. All the ults and everything, but this is a very different kind of champion, Kassadin versus Syndra. Syndra's out of, small impact attacks with one very heavy hitting ult. So you wither them down and then boom, one heavy hit. In Kassadin's case, he's more of an assassin, so it's a different playstyle. So I find that very, very interesting that Kalbi can embrace both.
Well, we'll have to see what he does with it. I mean, I would love to be able to quote Search as the Nessus stack player and throw some deleteds around this game, but we'll see how it goes. Jonathan, exceptional, locking in Lee Sin, of course, which we mentioned, and Annie, who will be exceptional support this game, looking to be very aggressive. Jinx, the AD carry, locked in there, and it looks like Diddley Hole's going to play Rumble in the top lane. Again, very dragon-centric on this team comp.
And a lot of damage coming out there. I know you play Annie support yourself, so what do you think about Annie and Jinx?
Annie Jinx probably has one of the highest kill potentials out of any bot lane in the game, and the power of a level 6 Annie Jinx combo is nothing to sneeze at. In fact, you should probably sneeze repeatedly at that, because when they hit you, that's probably all you'll have time to do before you die. Shivers, and especially Incinerate, is so high in damage coming out from Annie here. This bot lane is going to be really formidable. Of course,
And
if we do look over on the other side, though, they're going up against Leona Lucian, which is an equally strong bot lane. So that's going to be a spicy matchup to keep an eye on there.
And Lucian is slippery, which is exactly what they need to counter the heavy lockup from Jinx's traps plus Annie's stuns. Lucian, quickly dashes away. He also has a relatively high base movement speed, which will help out.
He is quite gifted athletically, and he just darts around the map, puts out quite a bit of damage in his Ebullion lane, so we'll have to see how Jinx does against this Lucian. This is actually really the battle of the stereotypical bot lanes. I mean, Lucian and Jinx are locked in or banned every game. Annie, Leona pretty much locked in or banned every game, at least at pro level, and this will be really interesting to watch. Of course, also of note, we do have the jungle Kha'Zix coming out for Sivir Yi. Shoutouts to Night Blue. And Delirious Korean going to play Riven in this mid lane, which could make for a rough day for Kalbi.
Oh yeah.
The Korean could eat the Kalbi alive, as it were, for those of you who are familiar with Korean food.
I would certainly not want to be playing Kassadin against a Riven anytime. Because any kind of all-in you try to pull, you're just going to get out-damaged, you're going to get stunned. Kassadin's ult not nearly as effective as it was half a second ago if you're thinking tower dives.
This is true. And then, of course, I need a QQ in that top lane going to be taking Malphite, which he actually had the last pick of, decided to play Malphite against Rumble, which is a matchup I really am not sure I would pick into personally.
I wouldn't.
As an auto stacker, picking into an AP champion.
Do you think it's going to be an AP Malphite, or is it going to be a raw, normal armor-based tanky Malphite?
Well, they have tons of damage on their team here. You have a Triforce AD carry in Lucian. You have a lot of damage coming out of the jungle from Jungle Kha'Zix, and of course Delirious Korean with just damage out the bazinga on Riven. I mean, I don't think they need an AP Malphite unless they really feel that their lack of magic damage is going to hurt them that badly. But anyway, so we do have our teams locked in here. It will be Rumble in the top lane for NKG on Diddley Hole. Oh, Jonathan going to be on Lee Sin. Once again, we'll see if we get more spectacular plays from him. Kalbi going to lock in Kassadin in the mid lane, and then Dung and Exceptional on Jinx and Annie in that bot lane. They will be going up against Undecided, who is fighting for their playoff lives right now. Stanley and Stevie in the bot lane on Lucian and Leona. Sivir Yi in the jungle on Kha'Zix with Delirious Korean, and I need a QQ in the solo lanes on Riven and Malphite respectively. Of course, we are into our spectator delay here quite deep, actually. We talked quite a bit. And
God, Matt, just shut up already.
We are both long-winded individuals. Let's not beat about the bush here. And so now that we're down to about 50 seconds into our spectator delay, we are going to take a very, very short break, get through loading screen, and then we'll come out onto the Rift, talk about the skin war, and get you guys prepped to see another great game of League of Legends. So we'll be back in a bit. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are now back out to the Summoner's Rift, bringing you the second of this best-of-3 series of games coming out from NKG, North Korean Gaming, who is now on the blue side, and Undecided Gaming, who will be playing on the purple side. I don't care whether or not their name is just Undecided, I'm adding gaming to make it sound better. And, I mean,
we have Death by Gaming. We have to say that gaming, adding it a little bit, the closer you sound like us, the better.
Gaming is good. Gaming is good. Of course, we are seeing a level 1 play geared up here for NKG. It looks like they're going to go in for an aggressive invade again. Stanley could be in trouble once more. He's going to be starting to run for his life. Are they going to go for the stun here? There it is, the flash stun down onto Stanley, and he is in deep trouble. He will flash away, a flash burned for a flash. But that means that he is just that much more susceptible to the gank. Undecided not backing off here, though. They are hanging around, and Diddlyhole could be in trouble. He's just playing guard dog, right? Well, guard Yordle, I guess. Guard Death Robot?
Something of the sort. I can't believe that Undecided did this to us, and did this more importantly to the viewers. We never got to get into the skin war. Who won the skin war?
That's true.
Isn't that what everybody wants to know?
Diddlyhole was losing the war, but he does not have a skin. I can't believe I laughed at my own joke like that. Oh, Jonathan getting very aggressive, but he could be in deep trouble here. This level 1 is taking a very long time. The minions are already fighting, and nobody's actually making a move. They haven't even taken the blue buff. NKG did not take the blue buff. They are just backing away on this one. It looks like that will ultimately just be a flash burner level 1.
It looks like N.A. Stanley is the first one to get out there actually farming. So he's going to be slightly ahead in CS compared to Jung.
Oh, Jonathan stuck around maybe a little bit too long. Oh, a nice flash over the wall to try and get away. But here's the flash ignite coming out from Delirious Korean. Jonathan popping health pots. Chug, chug, chug like Thomas the tank engine. He'll get away the golems, but he gets killed. Oh, the golem. The golem destroyed him. And that will be first blood over to Undecided. This game already looks very different from last game. We could see something exceptional.
And I know from experience, jungle creeps do not appreciate being used as escapes. They're usually very upset about it. And in that case, it showed. They were like, no, you can't just use me as some means to get away from these lovely people.
They just want hugs. They just want hugs. They don't want sonic waves. Only Amumu's allowed to escape.
All he wants is friends.
Well, he doesn't have any. He's a sad mummy. But yes, so talking about the skin war, let's take a look across the map right now, because we do have one. Oh, as Kalbi gets jumped on by Delirious Korean here in mid lane, as I try to talk about the skin war, what a scumbag. We only have 2 skins coming out for Undecided in this one. Meanwhile, their opponents...
I think it's a 2v3.
1, 2, 3. Yep, it looks like 3 skins coming out for their opponents, NKG. So NKG having the edge in the skin war this time. And everyone knows that that's an essential part of League of Legends. If you spend more money on the game, clearly you're going to win. Unless you're a Rioter, then they just sort of give you the skins and...
I'm sure there's people in Riot right now sitting there going, I'm so glad he said that.
I mean, I figured they required a shout-out. You know, the benevolent overlords who have brought us this game that has devoured so much of my time is Delirious Korean jumping onto Kalbi, and
we have a pause.
Comes in from I need to QQ. I feel like I've seen this somewhere before. Perhaps it was in a recent game with maybe, I don't know.
I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. I don't know what you're saying.
A pair of lovers from some Reddit comic, say Zed and Syndra. It just...
This might have been one of those recent Nostradamus visions that you've been having? Because I don't recall. I don't...
It almost looks like Kalbi's health is actually trending upwards, but that I think is because he popped a potion and the sound is still playing. So it's actually just messing with my brain. But let's take this pause opportunity to look across the map. Of course, we do have Jung again out CSing Stanley right now. Up HCS. He has the wave pushed up against that tower. So we're going to see whether or not they can continue to exert presence there, but certainly a lot of pushing coming out from Jinx Annie so far.
And again, like last time, no early sweepers. We just have wards across the board. I actually don't agree with this. I would love to see at least one sweeper, maybe on a jungler, coming out here for a little bit extra surprise element, less objective control early on. I thought I would see one coming from Undecided, but not the case.
Well, Stevie is back in the game. Although, you are a jungler, right? So,
yes.
As a jungler, let's talk about this jungle matchup a little bit. What are we seeing here from Lee Sin versus Kha'Zix?
This is the kind of matchup where I'd expect Lee Sin to be really, really aggressive, trying to get rid of Kha'Zix's early early camps.
Well, Kali made it out. He lived. He flashed away. And Delicious... Oh my gosh, I just called him Delicious Korean.
We've got Tibbers moving in on Diddley Hole. I need QQ just getting away while that Ignite ticks off.
Oh, the flash! Diddley Hole trying to pick up the return kill. I need a QQ. Says, no sir, I am a rock. I am an island. As Stanley gets jumped on in bot lane, and he will get away. Stevie taking a lot of damage there in return to try and get his AD carry out. And as usual, they will not fight in just one place at a time. They just want me to suffer as I try to cover everything.
And I truly expect, like I was saying before everything started up again, that we've got some heavy harass going on bottom lane. But I expect that Lee Sin will try to make Kha'Zix's life as difficult as possible early on, because Kha'Zix's damage will come out quickly, and if he's able to farm effectively...
So speaking of Kha'Zix's damage, exceptional getting some of it to the face. A flash jump from Sivir Yi to put a lot of damage down on the poor Annie getting... I mean, how would you feel as an 8-year-old getting eviscerated by a giant mecha bug thing? I mean, it's just really just... Actually, that's a really unpleasant thought. I'm sorry I brought that up, guys. That's just... Let's just forget that ever happened.
I'm just sitting here, Matt. I'm speechless, but also kind of curious myself. You brought up a good point.
I mean, is there a rule, like a set of ethics for the League of Legends? That should be
Sivir Yi Tibbers is not leaving bottom lane alone.
Oh, Sivir Yi comes back in onto that return gank. Oh, Jonathan was waiting. He was making ready to get the counter set up. And they were trying to bait using Jung, but that was just not their day. And it looks here like things could get rough, and Diddley Hole going to go down in top lane again. That Malphite.
Speaking of things getting rough,
the delicious Korean comes up from mid lane, away from his delicious Korean food, kalbi, which is actually spare rib meat. For those of you who are not familiar, and yes,
maybe
I am
Delirious will
mispronouncing
consider a new name change to Delicious Korean, because after you said that, I don't know, it sounds catchier to me.
It just sounds so much more fantastic. It's just majestic, almost proud. I mean, I could do this all day. But right now we are looking at a 5-0 kill deficit in favor of Undecided right now. Do you think they may be able to turn this one around?
Right now it looks really good. A lot of ganks off Tivers here. He's got 2 kills and 2 assists. Not a lot of farming coming from him, but now they're gonna even try to get dragon control here.
This is true. They do need to secure Dragon if they want to beat NKG. I think that's the formula, I guess you could call it, as a, oh, that's not the smite they were looking for, but they will get the Dragon anyway. That was a bit close.
I would say that was relatively safe for them all the same because it would have been a 3v4. And had O'Jonathan gone in, he knows and they know he would have been priority target. You got to get that smite out of there.
You should remember that QQ does have TP this game. He can go anywhere on the map that he wants.
That's true. And they did throw 2
fights.
wards down. They were probably getting prepared for that.
I think if we're honest, though, both teams went with dragon-based comps this game. Diddley Hole, of course, playing Rumble, the king of the dragon fight. And so much heavy initiate and cleanup damage coming out from Undecided here. They also going for a bit of dragon control, but I mean...
That attack speed slow on dragon is nothing to be, like, it's nothing to take lightly. So, Rumble, he doesn't really have to worry about attack speed. And, that's understandable. There goes his ult.
He does have to worry about Kha'Zix, though, and that will be the end of him, but he
turns it around!
He picked up the double kill! I thought he was done for! I spoke
and
too
manages
soon.
to land a shield just in time.
That was insane. Big time plays coming out from Diddley Hole, and he has gone from 0-2 to 2-2. Who would have thought? That was a big time play. They fought him on top of that equalizer. That's never a good decision. Oof. I'm just going to try and deal with the fact that I got shown up so hard right there by Diddley Hole.
And we've got Calvi here in mid lane trying to farm with no mana, but O'Jonathan's got his back.
Jonathan does has his back as a Zenith Blade lands from Stevie onto Jung. Jung will then kick a piercing light from N.A. Stanley, but ultimately nothing going to come out from that. Oh, there hasn't actually been that much fighting in this bottom lane
I
now
was about
recently.
to say, this is a much slower paced game, and the red buff ticks away and winds up stealing blue buff from Calvi.
Oh, Jonathan. How you make us wonder sometimes. I think I've made that pun about 3 times now. I apologize to all of our viewers on Twitch. All 8 viewers on Twitch. And Delirious Korean going to push this wave into the mid tower. Let's look at some items. We have 4 longswords coming out. 4 undecided already. Not to mention the Tiamat already completed onto Delirious Korean.
Who
He's
I
going right
think
for
is
that
seeing
Hydra.
red on bottom lane right now.
Oh, you... Talking about seeing red. That's a lot of damage coming out from Delirious Korean, and Jonathan finding Silver Yi in a lot of trouble. The red buff ticks away like Oriana's clockwork skirt, and he will go down in a pile of dust and broken dreams. That is the kill over Jonathan trying to get himself back into this game. Overall, though, a 1-for-1, I believe, in that bot lane.
But with that trade, also, Calvi got to farm a little bit more on mid and get damage on the turret. This is one of the, side effects of trying to roam.
Let's talk a little bit about the matchup there. Jonathan is waiting around in this bot lane. Exceptional has Tibbers and Flash. This could be messy. Jung is here. Oh, there goes the single target ability. A Flash coming out from Stanley, and nothing gonna happen, but... Calvi was on his way. He's backing on a ward, though. They see him, and Delirious Korean got to jump onto him. There's a lot of damage coming out from Delirious Korean, but of course, Calvi is playing Kassadin, so he will just go away.
Just enough mana to get that slow and Rift walk away.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the nature of the beast here in mid lane. Kassadin, so powerful in the late game, and he really can just get wrecked in the early game, but there's so many times where you just watch him come back and you feel like all your efforts in the early game didn't even matter. As a jungler, how do you deal with that feeling?
I mean, honestly, early game, all you have to deny him blue buff. Look, Jonathan did it for him, so there's that. Kha'Zix doesn't even have to worry about denying blue buff, at least this one time round. But if Kassadin has blue buff, he's still even a threat early game because he'll be able to get those Rift Wall stacks off, and he'll be able to pump out the damage that he needs to, at least to get executes. Late game, you don't even have. There's no ganking him. There's no ganking him. As long as he's got enough mana, and he has a flash and a couple rift walks off, you just have to trust your teammates to focus elsewhere and to get them fed enough where Kassadin, when you get to the team fights, isn't even a problem anymore.
I mean, that big purple... It's just the big purple monster in the room whenever you're in a game with a Kassadin. You're just sitting there looking over your shoulder saying, is he big yet? Is he big yet? Is he big yet?
I feel like you're talking about Cho'Gath, but I know you're talking about Kassadin.
And, I mean, he's actually 0-0-0 in this game. He's only down 8 CS from his laning opponent. He is down 3 kills, which is kind of an issue, but he could still get very big soon in this game. Once he gets Rod of Ages, he starts to get scary.
Hmm.
Of course, this is, as is probably quite clear to you, the second pause of our game. And
I understand there's only a finite number of pauses that you can have.
Well, our tournament regulations state that we limit you to 3 pauses per game. Otherwise, it just isn't fair to the opposing team to let you keep pausing the game over and over and over again. It disrupts game flow, and it's really quite messy to deal with.
Especially for our viewers, I don't want to keep them here all night. I don't know about you. Yeah. Especially since the longer that we're here, the more and more we're going to hear you say, "Oh, Jonathan."
Oh, Jonathan. Well, he's on the other team here, so he's not the Lone Ranger, as it were. But we do have to notify them that they only have 1 more pause.
We also have a nice long countdown for this pause. 25 minutes. But as I understand, they only have till the 20-minute mark. So they only have 5 minutes remaining.
Only have 5 minutes of free burn pause time. Can you imagine being stuck talking to each other for half an hour while we waited for Stevie to reset his internet connection? I mean, I would go stark raving mad.
I do think, if I recall, at one time we did dorm together in the same room and had to speak with each other on many occasions. It might have been just another one of those dreams, though. I don't know.
You and your dreams about like the past 4 years of your life. I mean, my probably most stirring memory is when we spent about 3 hours debating League of Legends, and your girlfriend got very upset at you. That was probably one of our lows together.
I think she was throwing chairs at one point. I can't remember precisely, but chairs or wine bottles, something happened.
Probably wine bottles, knowing her. But
looking back at this team, we've got about 1,000. We got about 1,400 gold gap.
I would say that's barely any gold gap at all, though. So far, I mean, the difference in kills is being made up for in the difference in CS, which heavily favors Diddly Hole and Jung. Both of them up around 20 CS. And, I mean, that's really going to start to show, especially if they can maintain that sort of lead or even expand upon it. Despite being down in kills, NKG is far from out of this game.
Interestingly, Delirious Korean is up in farm over Calby, and yet Delirious Korean has been, roaming a lot more than Calby has. Calby has been given a chance to push the lane down anytime Riven leaves. Yet, as you said before, Riven, she's a very heavy lane bully, and it's not somebody you want to face with Kassadin.
So of course, Kassadin was
might be the explanation. First.
The Riven, of course, dominating this matchup so far. Of course, not necessarily dominating Kassadin. She's been dominating everywhere else on the map, as Stevie coming back in Finally, here in the tail end of the second pause here for Undecided, and finally Stevie is back. The Leona, the Sun Lady, has returned. It is daytime on Summoner's Rift once again. And we should be able to get right back into our game in a couple of seconds here.
Here we go.
Here we go. Here is our countdown. Let's see if Jonathan can make his great escape. And he
Looks
will
like he
by
did.
Waveport.
I mean, in a case like that, you have everything paused. You had time to make decisions. They may have made a rash decision, but that pause could have saved them. They might have tried to dive him, in which case Rumble may have been able to pick up some kills, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, sadly for Rumble, he's losing CS to Tower, so Leehole going to hop back up there and look to get back on track, trying to continue to exacerbate this CS difference between himself and his opponent. And
I do love
Ping's
it when you say exacerbate.
Ping's going out already onto Jonathan. He's been spotted out by a Trinket Ward. And he and Calby are just sitting on this thing.
And it looks like Leona did spring for a sweeper. So we're finally seeing some kind of, anti-aggressive warding going on here.
Yes, indeed, we are finally seeing a sweeper onto Stevie here. Clearly some heady play from him, and we could have a bit of a thing brewing in mid lane, but it looks like it's not really going to come to much, and both junglers looking to make plays there. But neither of them really making anything out of it. Apparently Dragon is coming up soon. A lot of pings coming down onto that.
Again, that's that objective control that we've been seeing. Although those pings were coming out of Undecided, weren't they?
No, they were coming from North Korean.
They were coming
Undecided
from North
got
Korea.
the last Dragon, but North Korean was pinging.
They are very aware of their objectives.
Well, Dragon's up. Now it's just a matter of time. Sometimes I feel bad for Dragon, actually. It just gets killed repeatedly.
It gets a lot of abuse, but at the same time, you can't feel too bad. Justin Bieber got a lot of abuse, and now look at him.
That's true. I mean, you too, Dragon, could become a successful Canadian pop star by way of YouTube. And here we go, the Dragon getting burned down quite quickly. This looks like, yep, it will be the smite, and the kill picked up over 4.
Jonathan trying to make some plays.
Jonathan and Exceptional both trying to make a play on that Dragon, though. Jonathan jumped in from the back of the Dragon pit, couldn't quite make things happen, and then he just got eaten alive. And a Stanley picking up that kill.
Do you think this is a little bit some confidence that's coming out from last game after such great plays coming out of him? He might be a little bit too overconfident. That wasn't something that I thought he was going to try to do, especially with Kha'Zix having his own smite up.
Well, there was a Tibbers around, but Lee Sin does make things very difficult for you if you're in a smite war with him. That Sonic Wave Execute is so strong, as we watch Delirious Korean go up and see a delicious Korean in Diddly Hole. I actually don't know if he's Korean, but I'm going to pretend he is, as the Rumble Ultimate comes down, Ignite onto Delirious Korean. They are fighting on that Rumble Ultimate again. That is always a bad decision, and he will pick up another kill. Diddly Hole is ignited, though, and he will go down. The shutdown money onto Delirious Korean. I am all kinds of confused now. Someone help me. Someone help me, please. Stallard, I look to you for love and
I think
moral
somebody
support.
just needs to send Comrade a sandwich. If we can get that now, we won't hear this name mess up ever again. He's just hungry.
I mean, well, we're back into the game, and I can sort of talk about things that are happening in the game right now. Is Calby going to get this blue buff? Oh, never mind. Jonathan took it. Again. He's counter bluing his own mid laner all over the map right now. And that was a four-man
too late taking blue from Silver Tibbers. That Kha'Zix needed to get denied blue much earlier. Because at this point, he's not going to have as much trouble. Especially with a full-built jungle item, Spirit of the Elder Lizard.
This is true. Well, in mid lane, we did have that 4-man blue buff platoon gear up and take down the mid tower 2-1 in towers in favor of North Korean Gaming. Stevie looking to go in here, but he doesn't really have anywhere to go. Oh, Jonathan would have been the priority target here, and this looks like it's a blue buff that could go over to Kalbi. Here it goes, it's dropping very low. Jonathan doesn't have a smite, and it will go to Kalbi. Kalbi finally getting a pretty little blue ring around his feet. Just what he was looking for, as Exceptional looking to jump in onto this one. A nice equalizer. Stevie in a lot of trouble. There is the equalizer in the Tibbers. And
the splash damage from the Jinx ult.
Just a nice little execute there, and the kill picked up for Jung. And now North Korean Gaming going to look to continue to power down this mid lane. As a
third pause.
And this is their final pause coming in. Well, now apparently we've had some messy ping and lag issues.
Now, how long do we have, Matt, until this is resolved? Would you say either the good way or the bad way?
Well, as of rules that were put into place, the pause is allowed to go until...
Oh, here we go. We're about to resume.
Until 20 minutes. They cannot pause again, although I'm not sure who's notifying the players. Someone will have to notify them. They are not allowed to pause another time here. For the sake of game continuity and caster voices, because I mean, with team fights potentially happening, I would hate to be wasting voice reminiscing about college days with Stallard here. Nothing against our college days. They were truly wonderful times.
Us reminiscent old men.
Well, we are quite mature, if I do say so myself, relatively speaking. And here we go.
Pings are coming
very
out.
Aggressive. Oh, this could be a bad fight here. There's the insect coming out from Jonathan. He will try to get back behind friendly lines, but he's going to get jumped down on, and the solar flare only landing on one person, but Jung goes down. Severy Tibbers picks up that kill. Delirious Korean getting a kill onto Exceptional, and now we are down to... That was a 3-for-0.
3-for-0.
So 5 versus 2 in this mid lane. Diddley Hole in a lot of trouble, but Kalbi jumps in and picks up the kill onto NA Stanley. So now it's the kills quickly changing hands. I need a QQ in a lot of trouble. Now Diddley Hole could be the man with the plan being executed on top of him, and he will go down. That is a
And
kill.
surprisingly, I need QQ had a lot of pots, so he could just use that to mitigate the ignite. He was just spamming them like crazy. I normally don't see a lot of pots this late into a game.
When in doubt, press 1 a lot of times, and you might just survive. Well, they will survive that barely, and surprisingly, we actually don't have any towers or objectives being forced off of that, just a total of 5 kills coming out for the two teams, and a bit of a reset. This could be the difference.
Now, there's a lot of wards on the board, but I don't think many of them are for any particular reason besides movement-wise, for the sake of Jonathan.
Oh, of course, Lee Sin with Sightstone gets so much mobility. Not that he's not already a mobile champion, he's really quite terrifying. And this is another pause.
We're going to have to take a moment to talk to the teams, get this squared away. We technically only have 40 seconds left to continue up to this point, which would be a shame because currently we've got a relatively considerable gold and kill gap, which could spell the end for one team or the other. But it remains to be seen how that's going to play out.
Well, since we are 3 minutes behind, we can't take any serious action on that, but we will be taking action after the game to look into that pausing mechanic, because that is, of course, it's very difficult to deal with multiple pauses like that, especially longer ones. As we do have a 3v3 potentially brewing in this mid lane. Stevie getting jumped onto, and Dragon's Rage sending him back into the enemy team, but Exceptional, who threw down a nice Tibbers, is just going to get eaten alive. There's the equalizer from Diddley Hole, but it's not going to be enough. Maybe just enough to disengage this fight, but not much more, and that will be a 1-0 in the favor of Undecided. NKG going to try and shove their way down this mid lane, and Undecided may be caught, but a 3-man unstoppable force, and Jung and Diddley Hole immediately demolished. Ooh, that was pretty brutal. Pretty brutal play there. What an unstoppable force from Uncd QQ.
A lot of really well placed ults coming out of
Undecided.
I need QQ here. Excuse me, it took me a second to remember his name.
It's on the screen, though.
It's hard to read sometimes.
Words are hard. It really makes me wonder how you're going to make it as a journalist, but I won't make any remarks on your career choices here. We'll just let you keep journalizing the way you want to do it. Who knows? Maybe you'll be Walter Cronkite one day. As another dragon goes over to Undecided, they've now stretched the gold gap to 7,000 gold. That's pretty significant here at 22 minutes.
Like I was saying, Undecided has been landing a lot of really effective ults from everybody on the team. Not so much from Korean.
Well, Stanley
and
gets
I
caught there by
corrected.
Jonathan.
That was a very nicely landed ult coming from Jung.
Just a beautiful death rocket. Sivir caught in the jungle, and Kalbi just going to turn him into spare ribs and take that red buff away. But what a play. What a set of plays there. They get a couple picks, and now North Korean Gaming could be in the catbird seat to get a couple towers off of this. They've certainly been much more crisp in their rotations than their opponents.
Interestingly, that sweeper coming down from Annie, they saw the ward in the bush and they chose not to destroy it.
Well, I have to give some credit here to Uncd QQ. We're going to have to call him the Rock of the top lane, likening him to Gibraltar, the fortress on the Spanish coast. Because his tower has just... It's getting hit, but he's really held his own here. He's been ganked a great deal. He's had some counter ganks from his own friends. And,
I do need to apologize to all we've got.
Oh, what an unstoppable force going down on a Diddley Hole. Can Sivir Yi do enough damage to survive? I don't know if he can. He is in deep trouble. Oh, he gets the heal off the rockets. And Uncd QQ picks up the kill. 2 kills over to Undecided there. And
my gosh, he was sitting there with 60 health by the end of it.
Oof, that is what we call top class, top-notch play, knowledge of your champion, Kha'Zix. And Uncd QQ now getting jumped on by Jonathan in a nifty little dodge there, the Sonic Wave, and he's gonna put some return damage onto Jonathan, and Jonathan
decides bottom wave is pushing very heavily.
It's getting pushed quite hard here. Stanley
trying
really
to take himself
shoving,
a tower.
But Exceptional is here. The stun going on to Stevie. There's the zap, and here's the Kalbi. Bringing the beef to this fight. The Solar Flare coming out, hitting the Kassadin, and Jung just trying to put the damage down. I'm not sure they're going to have enough to kill Stevie here, though. He will eat a cookie and move on with his life. That was quite close, though, as the top tower finally going down. The Rock of top lane. Not quite able to hold on to that one.
And that tower remained in the game for 25 minutes.
It is being outlived, however, by its counterpart, which has barely been nicked this entire game.
Wow.
Top lane clearly not the focus in this one.
And if you were watching that top lane, it was pretty much a farm fest. on both sides, even with Rumble dishing out a lot more damage in her ass.
Well, Diddley, of course, doing a lot of work on that Rumble. He's got his Leandry's Tournament and a Seeker's Arm Guard here. Yi is getting jumped on. But, oh, Jonathan may have gone in a bit too hard for this one. Kalbi getting Zenith bladed onto by Stevie. Out comes the culling. And it culls nobody because no one's weak enough to get knocked down by just a Lucian ultimate. Let's be honest here. But Stanley in a lot of trouble, and the super mega death rocket brings him down to close to single digits, I'd say.
And once again, we see the benefit of these late game pops coming out. Everybody's been spamming them on this team, and it's really been working out for them. They've been mitigating ignites, and in this case, it saved Stanley's life.
Yes, and in this case, gigantic, oversized pieces of dynamite that fly through the air. Really... Really quite horrifying. Mafia Jinx is a skin I could never quite figure out whether I liked it or not. As Jung is not quite sure whether he likes a Delirious Korean or not, and there's the Unstoppable Force onto Exceptional and Jung goes down, the Broken Dreams, and the Cloud of Dust.
Done by Broken Wings.
So many broken dreams. He could write a Green Day song that hurt him so much, and a 4-man ultimate coming out here. I need a QQ in deep trouble, though, and now North Korean Gaming deciding they may not want this fight. It is a 4v5 without an AD carry on their side. That's usually a recipe for disaster. Ooh, Talisman of Ascension popped.
I can say Undecided seems to have a lot of the advantage tank-wise. They just seem to have a much more tankier build, a little bit more sustain. The tankiest member of the other team is Rumble, and that's also what seems to be a significant amount of their damage. Diddley Hole is taking up a lot of kills, turning things around, but there's just too much CC.
It is really difficult. I mean, they did ban out a lot of tanks, did NKG. I think they should change their name to
We Don't Like Tanks?
Against Tanks. So PAT. Players Against Tanks. We can, of course, already see here, Triforce is completed onto Lucian as they engage a fight as I try to talk about items. Solar Flare coming down, 83 members, and again Delirious Korean picks up Jung.
No, Jonathan
now the man in trouble, but he will whiff walk over the ball. Exceptional could be in trouble, but I Need a QQ is making moves, and that, I think, was a Sunfire Cape picking him up as Diddley Hole getting jumped on by Delirious Korean, and that Delirious Korean will just back
by Stevie onto Jonathan.
Yes, and Jonathan looking like he's in trouble. This is a very spread out fight. It's pretty much taking place over the length of the river. Kalbi coming down to the bot side. Jonathan down to double-digit HP.
Sivers thought his rockets were going to do enough, but he walked away clean without dying.
Well, that is another dragon, and Jonathan now very low. He tried to do golems, and I don't think you try to take golems down on low HP twice in one game. You could die twice to them in one game.
Those golems have not been treating him well all game. It's one of the major disadvantages of being a jungler if you're not going to be farming your jungle very much. You come back into it and you're a little behind, they can do significant damage to you.
Well, Jonathan does have 109 CS. That's 30 more than his counterpart on the opposite side. Of course, Kha'Zix, Sivers has already his Elder Lizard Ninja Tabi and the Ravenous Hydra. And I mean, that's a lot of damage coming out from a Kha'Zix, especially if you get on an isolated target.
They have a lot of AoE in general, just because, of course, we have the Malphite, and then we have two Ravenous Hydras on the team.
Ooh, Kalbi getting a Zenith Blade to the face. Jonathan getting some Lucian to his face, and this is looking like it could turn into another very messy team fight here. Delirious Korean going Rambo, and there's the culling and the solar flare, and there's the Unstoppable Force, hits 4 people, and North Korean Gaming is just getting cleaned up here. There's just no defense against this much damage and tankiness. 3 for nothing so far. I Need a QQ zoning out Diddley. And Colby jumping in onto Stevie. Stevie could meet his end. Nope. He's actually completely fine. He says, I don't have to die just because you used your abilities on me, Colby. I'm gonna be Leona the Sun Lady. Plus, I mean, if Leona dies, doesn't Summoner's Rift get a bit darker? Just a little bit.
That was very poetic. That was beautiful. Brought a tear to my eye. And there's a Diana sitting in the background just laughing.
Somewhere in the seats, Diana's sitting back there saying, I don't, but I got scared. Of course, I don't think any Lunar Revel skin will ever stand up to Panda Annie. It's just the greatest. In fact, I really want to strangle Exceptional for not having Panda Annie this game.
He's just not being part of the holiday cheer right now. All of those skins are on sale, I believe. Revel skins.
Confirmed on Safe Stream? Is it confirmed on Safe Stream? I don't know. But we'll have to check. But I mean, if you have the opportunity
off. I'm just saying it out loud. Just a guess.
If you are an Annie player, if you are a support player, heck, if you're a mid player and you have the opportunity to pick up Panda Annie, you go get yourself some, because that's an endangered breed. It is just beautiful. I don't know if I would rather have any other skin in the world.
There you have it, folks. Kobasa admits his love interest with a panda.
Well, here comes Stevie jumping in onto Diddly Hole. This could be that jungle fight. Stevie's just sitting here tanking everything. He's 1v5 and he goes down.
All alone. That was a big mistake over that wall, Zenith Blade.
That could have been a miscommunication from Stevie. He just got utterly eviscerated on that one.
You know, walls aside, it looked like a great initiate. They were all clumped together. It just looked beautiful, but at the same time, no vision. I mean, how is the rest of your team going to get over that wall?
Without ultimates, without knowledge of the terrain, I mean, Sun Tzu would be absolutely at call. But here comes I Need a QQ and Co. Sivir Yi in there. Delirious Korean gonna throw down the Wind Slash, which looks like something out of a Bleach cartoon, and that will pick up the kill onto Colby. As Stanley here shooting at O'Jonathan, it looks like, yeah, this could be our first Baron of this series. We didn't see one last game, but this is hotly contested. This could be bad for Undecided. They might be biting off more than they can chew, but nope, that's a three-man unstoppable force, a three-man solar flare, and here comes the cleanup. They will pick up one kill onto Exceptional, another kill for Stanley on the Jung, and that will pretty much secure that Baron, I think, unless Sivir Yi dies here to O'Jonathan, and it looks like it will in fact be the reverse. The long claws of the bug.
Such a duelist. Early game, both Lee Sin and Kha'Zix can be considered duelists, but as you go on, Lee Sin's more of a tank, disruption, carry thing of legend, and Kha'Zix just duels the crap out of everything.
Well, at least Kha'Zix doesn't start the game at level 18 with 25,000 gold just because he's Kha'Zix. Same cannot be said for Lee Sin the Blind Monk. But a great...
By far one of my most favorite champ spotlights of all time.
Easily the greatest here is Colby getting jumped towards jumping towards Stevie. But Stevie will get away. And let's just take a moment and appreciate how fantastically Delirious Korean has played in this series. He's 13-0-6 right now on Riven. He has yet to die.
That is unbelievable. Considering the caliber of both of these teams, you should expect more deaths coming out just from the fact that you're playing League of Legends. Champions die, yet somehow Delirious Korean is stepping up his game to such a level that they can't touch him.
I mean, he's got almost 14,000 total gold earned in this game. The next highest person on the opposing team is Jung, who has 10,000 gold. I mean, he's on just a whole other stratosphere right now. He's in a whole other ecosystem. As Diddly Hole, oh, there's the Zenith Blade, a nice ultimate coming down, but it's just not enough for Rumble to do on his own, and he will get picked up. This looks like it'll be the mid-inner tower in favor of Undecided, and this could be the slow strangle death for North Korea Gaming.
I was surprised that this game has gone on as long as it has. North Korean Gaming has been giving it the good fight. I had assumed that after a certain point things would be moving a lot quicker, but the rate of the game slowed down. Looks like
well, this could be another good fight,
is going to go down.
There's the Dragon's Rage onto Stevie, but now Jonathan in trouble. Sivir going to chase him, as in the background, Delirious picks up 3 kills with basically no effort. He just bonkais and dismantles his opponents. This will be an inhibitor, possibly a Nexus Tower in favor of Undecided. Yes, it looks like they will push forward. Diddley Hole can't do a whole lot. He's had a rough game, 3-8-3. And they're looking at the Nexus Towers. They're going to start beating them with their faces. And they will move on to the second one. They have time. They have 10 seconds. And they're now going to jump on a Diddley Hole. He has no towers to hide behind, and he is very low. He will go down, and this will be the game. In favor of Undecided, ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves a ball game here at series tied at 1-1. A pair of dominating victories for each of these teams. That was
now there might be some discrepancies with those pauses. I'm curious what's going to come out of that, if anybody's going to make any complaints or say anything, or if this is just all going to slide in the interest of keeping the show going.
Well, those pauses were definitely impactful. But as we get this next game set up for you guys, we'll talk a little bit about this game as we enter into our Spectre delay and our pick and ban phase of the next game. But for now, we're going to take a short break while we refill our water glasses and prepare our bodies for more League of Legends. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back into this game here between
Okay.
Undecided and North Korean Gaming. The sides have switched back, of course. Undecided being docked a ban for taking 4 pauses in last game.
Shame, wagging the finger.
Hopefully they will not take a 4th pause in this game, and we won't have to consider further measures, but let's get back to this. This is, of course, the game breaker. 3rd game in the best of 3. And we have seen some just wonderful play from both of these teams so far. Going to be really interesting to see how the two play it. I mean, and especially going to be interesting to see how Undecided prioritizes their bans. Here with the Gragas, of course, being the first one. They only get 2 bans. Are they really that worried about Kalbi? This is what we're going to have to see. Of course, Kalbi has been very good in this series.
I'm a little disappointed. I want to see this Gragas that they're so afraid of, but I guess I'll have to wait for another time.
Well, there it goes. It is banned, and we can find you a VOD if you really want to see it. But it's quite the dangerous Gragas. He's a potent Gragas player, and so they will ban Gragas and Fizz away from him. Undecided will, and then meanwhile, on the purple side, NKG taking away Kazakh's Riven and Zed from their opponents. A little bit of different bans here. I do like different. The Riven, though. Trying to get rid of Korean's mid laners. At least that's what I'm seeing a little bit of. And also Sivir Yi's Kazakhs. Trying to take their opponents out of their game a little bit.
They really must have not liked those last game. And they were a massive impact in the game. That Kazakhs was all over the map early game. They want to get rid of that heavy pressure.
And of course, Riven didn't die, picked up almost 20 kills in that last matchup. That was just insane. The amount of killing that Delirious Korean did, that was probably enough killing for an entire series, but hopefully that doesn't jinx him.
And it wasn't a Dragon Blade Riven.
It wasn't a Dragon Blade Riven. Get with the times, people. Get with the times. Anyway, getting into our picks here, Stevie going to lock in Elise. That'll probably be for Sivir Yi in the jungle. He did not have a lot of success on that in the first game, but he did do some okay play, so we'll see if he can go a little bit better that time around. Meanwhile, NKG, aka PAT, aka Players Against Tanks, are now going to lock in Dr. Mundo, presumably for Diddly Hole. So I don't even know what I'm watching anymore. They also bring in Caitlyn for Jung. It was a champion he had some good success on in the first game. Went 9-4-14. So, I mean, they're going a little bit of comfort pick and a little bit of OP tank here.
And if you have a very strong front line, Caitlyn doesn't have to worry about much. And surprisingly, Caitlyn has a very nice kiting potential. People don't see it, but it's there. Especially with traps and her ability to get away with the 50 caliber net. She could be a threat.
It is a 90 caliber net. You're actually not giving her
40
enough
caliber
credit.
Short.
Get your... That's almost half, Stallard. Get it together here. Let's go. Come on. Well, yes,
I don't know. I'm thinking of a smaller net, I guess.
Smaller net. So maybe she has a 50 caliber net when she's dealing with Yordles.
It would make sense. You don't want to go for overkill.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Anyway, we're going back to picks here. I need a QQ going to lock in Shyvana, so it will be that classic LCS rumble in the top lane, Shyvana and Mundo. And Sivir Yi going to bring in Leona, that I assume is for Stevie. He has some great success on that in this past game, landing a lot of good multi-man solar flares. So we're going to have to see how they do with that setup going forward. And then Exceptional getting Thresh again, though. They didn't ban Thresh. That was their 3rd ban last time. Exceptional going to pick up Thresh.
And Thresh is considered a decent counter to Leona. Thresh can play into that Zenith Blade, and everything gets mitigated.
And of course, Kalbi bringing out the Vi jungle. That will go over onto O Jonathan. Finally, we get to see something other than Lee Sin from him.
Interesting.
As N.A. Stanley hovering over Tristana, and Delirious Korean hovering over Kale, which would, I guess, be his 3rd champion here. We have seen him play Kassadin, though. back when he was Night Fury, and he was just Night Furious at everyone. He did have some very good play on Kassadin, and it's interesting to see him go a different way with this one, but clearly this looks like the protect the tiny Yordle with a giant gun comp. Stanley on that Tristana. We'll see if he can get through the early game and get to that late game power that Tristana brings.
Tristana's, I mean, her range is something that is very hard to predict as it, slowly scales upwards, and that might give them a slight advantage just with that change. People aren't used to facing as many Tristanas these days because we've been seeing, as you said, a lot of Lucians, a lot of Caitlyn's, and a lot of Jinxes. So this might work out. You never know.
You do never know, actually. And it is important to point out that Lucian was not banned in this game, so Lucian was still up. This may be just one of their blue side strategies, as opposed to a purple side strategy. But they do have a lot of tankiness coming out. Decided you have Elise, who typically builds fairly tanky. We may see more of an AP build on this Elise, but we also have the Shyvana, who's insanely tanky, the Leona coming out, which is insanely tanky, and then Kayle, who's capable in late game of two-shotting squishy champions, while simultaneously having an ult that makes someone invulnerable, aka super tanky. So we'll see how that exactly works out, as Jonathan locks in the LeBlanc for Kalbi. Oh, this ought to be fun.
And that would be LeBlanc versus Kayle? Is that what I'm hearing?
It will be, in fact, LeBlanc versus Kayle.
That's an interesting matchup. I really want to see about that one. Kayle's got to really worry about that silence, because when she needs the ult, it might not be there.
LeBlanc, of course, is seeing a lot of pro-level play now. We all know about Bjergsen, the Bjerger King, if you will. Really just putting Dignitas to the sword with that LeBlanc. And we're going to have to see how Kalbi can do here, trying his Bjerger King impression. This is, of course, the third game. All the marbles are on the table, all the crazy bones are on the table, whatever collectible toy you want to think of. If you prefer rubies and diamonds, we can go with that too. This one's for all the chips, folks, and we are into our spectator delay. We'll be back in a little bit, going to play you guys some tunes while we wait for Game 3 of our Winners Bracket semifinals. All right,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen, the final game of our winners semifinals. Coming in here, we have Undecided versus NKG, North Korean Gaming. We're going to see who will take this series home. It is, of course, our first Death by Gaming 3-game split. It will be very interesting. I'm really excited for this one.
So far, we've been seeing a lot of really, really good play coming from Undecided last game. It's as if they got their feel for NKG, and now they've just stepped it up. They know what to do.
Well, when you out-dragon fight the dragon team, it tends to go your way here, but Delirious Korean in a bit of a scary position here, but they've been pinged out, I believe, and NKG going to disperse.
And no Justicar Kale skin, which is big disappointment. It's one of my favorite skins in all of the game.
It is true, however, that the war was won. Oh! Flash out from Sivir Tibbers to dodge that death sentence from Exceptional. Thresh is a scary, scary dude.
And one of his spiderlings did actually catch the death sentence. Not sure if the flash was entirely necessary, but it was very close.
It was a close run thing, but if we do take note, though, the skin war was won quite definitively. Oh no, not quite definitively. It was a 3-2 skin war in favor of North Korean Gaming. We did see last game, skin war was won by Undecided. They won the game. We'll see if they can beat the skin war gods and come up with this one.
That is tempting fate. That is tempting fate.
You always want to go in with all your bling.
Absolutely. Speaking of bling, we have a Victorious Elise. With that new skin.
Lots of shininess. Lots of shininess. Almost as shiny as that gold and silver and jeweled custom Elise skin you found that one time.
One of my favorites.
That had some bling to it.
That's over at pretty sure you can find it almost anywhere.
Well, that's enough of shameless self-promotion. Let's talk a little bit. We are going to see in top lane this classic Mundo versus Shyvana matchup. It's a matchup that recently got tilted a little bit. Shyvana, of course, getting nerfed as the Flay comes down onto Stevie in bot lane, followed by a death sentence. This is a lot of damage onto a very tanky Leona, though, so she's just going to walk away a bit.
That was an exchange in Exceptional and Junk's favor. Mainly just because they came out at level 2.
Well, they did capitalize. Ooh, nifty death sentence misses there from Exceptional. Stanley just going to weather the storm there. He's got to be careful. He played Tristana into that last time. And here's Kalbi in the mid lane as I try to talk about something else. And he will survive. Nice gank from Sivir Yi.
Oh, we got a dive!
Oh, delirious Korean with the flash dive and just a Q and the auto attacks with his charge of Righteous Fury.
Ignite definitely was part of that.
That too. Ignite's so key, and now they go in onto Exceptional on bot lane. Sivir Yi just making his presence felt across the map. Exceptional very low. He will go down. That's gold onto Stanley, and this game going very differently from our first matchup.
And that's already 2 assists for Sivir Yi. We have a jungler who's going to try to really, really make his presence known.
And now I can finally talk about this top lane matchup. And Shyvana versus Mundo. Shyvana's very good at harassing early in the game, but they just nerfed her burnout, the AoE damage. So we're going to have to see whether or not Diddley Hole can weather this storm a little bit easier now, since he doesn't have to deal with the obnoxious early game damage that comes out from that champion. Of course, Jung in a very bad spot here. He could be very... Nope. Okay. Sivir Yi backed off, and Jung will survive. We'll live to fight another day.
I'm looking at Vi on O Jonathan, and now I'm waiting for the ganks. I'm waiting for it to happen. He's just farming away. He wants to get, I'm guessing, as strong as he can, which might mean that he's gonna make a pass at Shyvana early, because you want to shut that down. You want to make sure Mundo can scale off enough so that he can give Shyvana a hard time.
This is true, and a lot of Shyvana's now building Blade of the Ruined King fairly early along with their Sunfire Cape, although we may see a magic resist item coming out from Shyvana early in this one. QQ, of course, laning up against the Mundo. He's a very competent top laner. I don't know much about his Shyvana, but we'll see how it goes. Certainly a lot of magic damage from Dr. Mundo, so we may see the early Spirit Visage or the early Banshee's Veil coming out from QQ. But certainly if he goes Blade of the Ruined King, Mundo's life could get very difficult.
Same time, you always want something to try to mitigate the healing. Shyvana, she really doesn't build anything in particular that can do that. But hopefully Ignite will be enough.
Yep, this is an Ignite Shyvana, so I mean... Ignite, if well-timed and not wasted, is usually enough to deal with Dr. Mundo, and of course as Shyvana you get so many tankier stats here, and when you go into your Dragon's Descent and become a giant freaking dragon that's just crashing down and being furious at everything. But we'll see. There's the ultimate coming out from Diddley Hole, and the QQ man gonna just back up a little bit there and not really mess with the Mundo. Mundo just using this one to stay in lane.
Only about 4 farm behind. We've got pings going on in mid. I don't think anything is going to come of it, though.
We do have a lot of junglers showing up. Well, a lot of junglers. There's only 2. We have both of them showing up in mid lane.
Just scores of junglers.
Scores! Just legions of junglers in the mid lane here. And it's really quite terrifying to think about that. Imagine 20 enemy junglers just waiting to gank you.
I think that would be a very brief game.
It would be over in a hurry. That would actually just become Lord of the Rings. Just massive numbers of fantasy creatures just smashing up against each
Ghost things just swarming over towers like Lotus.
Stevie gonna go in onto Exceptional here. Not a lot of damage going down onto him, though. It would essentially look like Hecarim's ultimate. But
like we're just running with this right now because
we really are. I mean, there's just so much ammo in this. As Jonathan walks to reward on his way down into this bot lane. Stanley taken down very low by the poke coming out from his opponents. He's in a deep hole here, but Jonathan could be in a deeper one as the Zenith Blade lands on him. Oh, he gets out.
That lantern from Thresh.
What a lantern! coming out from exceptional. I mean, his Thresh play has been so good, I refuse to say exceptional. It has just been superb. Superb. There's a good word I can use
And
there.
for that, we thank you.
It has been so good this game, and I mean, here we go again. The Zenith play, this time on the Jung, and there's a Cocoon, a lot of damage going down on the Jung, and he's going to take a Lantern. But now there's a Repel coming out from Sivir Yi. Can Sivir
Will
Yi
be enough.
secure
Sivir
this
Yi's mana is
kill?
relatively low.
The Zenith playing just the bitter end, and exceptional now in a very, very, very bad spot, flaying back, but this is a Tristana with a jump, and that'll be a double kill over onto Sivir Yi. What a chain of events on this bottom lane. Sivir Yi certainly making his presence felt down here.
Calvi was making a move, considering helping out, but he backed off, blowing Kale ult now.
He will instead fight in mid lane, and that Kale ultimate intervention will not last long enough to save her. Delirious Korean going down, giving a kill over to Kalbi, and that could be the beginning of the end in mid lane.
I mean, that is a very, very, very hard matchup for Delirious Korean. When you play against the LeBlanc, you always know that she's going to be bursting you down when that first Signal of Silence comes out, but in this case, normally Kale would be ulting when she knows the combo's coming in, but if you don't ult at that exact right moment, you're going to be silenced before you can hit it, and then that's game over. You're going to get bursted, and you're not going to be able to ult yourself in time.
We got a little bit of a scrap going on in this top lane. The Bilgewater Cutlass being popped for I Need QQ, just trying to get some damage returned back onto Diddley-Hole, who's chugging the potions, but here comes the ultimate.
Masochism is putting out a lot of damage, but the Ignite...
Ooh. And Timely Vi is timely. I Need QQ gonna have to run for his QQing life, and he will go down.
Beautiful cleaver by Diddley-Hole.
Cleaver right to the back of the old head scullular there. And that's the kill over onto Captain Diddley here, who's actually been pretty good this tournament. Stevie trying to go in here on bot lane and not going to get it. But ooh, nice dodge from Stevie there. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about this top lane matchup. I mean, I Need to QQ typically plays tanks, and so far in the tournament he hasn't shown a whole lot of star power necessarily, but he's shown that he's very capable, especially in this series here as Stevie goes in onto Jung, and here's Exceptional popping the box, trying to slow down his opponents. A lot of damage coming out from Stanley. They're trying to bring this one back. Stevie getting hooked in while he's on cooldowns. This could be bad, and here comes the teleport from Diddley-Hole. And the snipe going to get blocked by Stanley, selflessly supporting his support, a missed cleaver from Diddley. And a ward out from Stanley. This could be bad. If they get hooked here, Stanley getting hooked. He pops barrier, flashes out, but the solar flare coming down, missing everyone. Stanley going to go down to Jung. Diddley-Hole going to pick up Stevie, and this is not what they had envisioned. I think they just stuck around a little bit too long that time.
Definitely. And they really don't want damage on their towers. They understand that this team is about pushing objectives.
Certainly, if you lose the bot lane, you're going to start losing dragons, and that's the one thing you do not want to do against North Korean gaming. Of course, Jonathan is in top lane, though, so he's not going to be doing dragon right now.
We were talking about top lane.
We were talking about top lane. Diddley-Hole has racked up a lot of deaths in this tournament, actually, but he's still managed to maintain a big impact on games. Even last game, almost 10 deaths, but his Rumble ultimates were still doing lots of damage.
Turning around beautiful ganks that looked like they were not going to be in his favor, but...
That double kill
God.
in top lane was absolutely gorgeous.
I'm still reeling from it.
Oh, this could be bad for Delirious. He's going to use his intervention and start to heal his way out, but there's the
flash.
Assault and battery, and the flash coming out, but that's an ignited arrow. Jonathan caught on the edge of turret range. There's the return kill over to Sivir Yi. An assist going over onto his mid laner, who just sacrificed his life. That was a nice return kill, though, for Sivir Yi. The way to be there.
Definitely.
This bot lane
looks like we've got a lot of exchanging going on bottom lane.
It's been a spicy bottom lane. I knew it would be, and
there goes
now a lot of damage going out. There's the snipe onto
hole.
Stanley. Oh, Jung. Jung has been exceptional, considering he's a substitute player. He has just been absolutely exceptional this game.
I love it when I see Caitlyn's farming with their 90 caliber net. They don't have the right timing with the auto attack, but they want to get that last creep. The net comes out. And you see it in high level play, and it's coming out of John. So.
Well, Jung is also getting Zenith bladed and stunned here, but this could be bad. There's the cocoon. What a play! Jung getting bursted down. Another timely legend. Solar Flare comes down. Sivir picks up the kill. Exceptional could be the next man. Exhausted now. He's slow. He's so slow. His body's so heavy. He's taking so much damage from spiders. He will go down. Oh, Jonathan is here now. Jonathan walked through a ward, trying to vault break into the mix, but he could die here. He could pay with his life. He will not. Oh, the Zenith blade not quite long enough. And now Undecided looking to take this first dragon. The teams that taking the first dragon in every game so far.
Oh, Jonathan has not beat. He's sticking around. He put that ward down, but I think he knows better than to try his hand at this.
Well, he did try this before. There's the smite. Kalbi tried to LeBlanc dash in to try and put a little bit of damage onto it, but couldn't quite do it. It was a valiant effort, though.
Out of every champion that's very good at diving, I'm going to say LeBlanc is one of the best. She just dived, what was it, 3 people, 4 people doing dragon? Got out clean.
Clean, 0 damage, 0 effort really on her part, it almost seemed. As Assault and Battery going in onto Delirious Korean again, and he will burn his ultimate, but he may be very, very dead. No, he is not! Sivir Yi comes in, picks up the LeBlanc. Oh, Jonathan running away, but there's the repel. Sivir Yi could pick up this kill, too. He will pick up a double kill. I can't even speak right now. That is 702. Oh, Jonathan.
That is one very scary Elise. And it looks like he is going to be going tanky Elise. He's going to be going for that Spirit of the Golems.
That actually looks like it might be a Haunting, guys, actually. It could be DPS. It could be
going straight DPS.
It could be the Elise with magic penetration. We do see that very popular early Sorcerer's Shoes.
And that would mean that he is neglecting getting a Spirit item early, which is... Some people would argue not a good choice, because the longer that you have the Spirit item, the more you'll be benefiting from the extra gold that they grant you.
This is true. Conservation stacks are really, really important on junglers nowadays. They're so beneficial. But I mean, ultimately, if you can get a lot more magic penetration, my gosh. 702, build whatever you want, kid.
Absolutely. With so much presence, he might not be jungling all that much in the first place.
He might not be the team's starting AD carry for long. He may end up the team's jungler at this rate. And now he's going to fight Diddley Hole, and he's got percent damage, so Diddley needs to play this one pretty carefully. Although he does already have a Spirit Visage, so he's got good damage mitigation.
Delirious Korean has vision on Kalbi sitting in that left bush, but isn't going to do anything with Jonathan sitting right there.
He probably won't. He's probably going to play this one pretty safe, but Kalbi may not sit around. He's going to throw a lot down. That's a nice intervention.
Beautiful. And that was exactly what I'm saying. There was that half second as the signal's coming in that you can ult yourself.
But you don't want to get overzealous in that follow-up, and Jonathan throws down Assault and Battery, and a really beautiful Kale play kind of gets thrown to the wayside. That is not a pleased
This was the upset of truly wasted.
You were so close. You were so close. Well, they're pinging out the rotation here by Sivir Yi, who's going to decide, okay, Spider Lady decides that Spider Lady is going to go take golems.
If we look at top lane, there's a little bit of exchange going on between I Need QQ and Diddley Hole, but look at that top tower. It has almost no health left. It looks like I Need QQ might be getting tower gold first.
This is true. It's got 330 health left for Diddley, so QQ may be coming out better in this matchup. And there's the Dragon's Descent. He could be diving here. A lot of damage, and there's the Blade of the Ruined King and some Shyvana Claw Dragon thingies, and that will take down his opponent. Exceptional now getting to be the man on the bottom lane. There's a nice Solar Flare to pick him up. Kalbi, the man in trouble here. Jung as well. They are just This is just a messy, messy fight for North Korean gaming. They are fighting for their very lives to stay in this one, though. You can see the effort on all these players. They're making a lot of plays. The gold gap only about 3,000 right now, though, but it is in the favor of Undecided.
Undecided did just pick up mid-turret as well. It seems like they're playing North Koreans. They're going after those objectives. They're going to push hard, and they're going to make sure they get the early gold advantage. And a failed repel by Sivir.
Well, Stanley almost bit the bullet there, and Colby now in a lot of trouble. He tried to steal the red, he failed. He tried to get away, he also failed, and that's money on to Sivir Tibbers. He is now legendary, 8-0-3.
My god. That's a very, very scary spider lady. As if she wasn't scary enough with her creepy little can-can.
that can. She's quite an accomplished dancer, though, I have to admit.
Hey, the spiderlings, they're very, very, very good at doing the same thing. Everything is coordinated.
Everything is coordinated. There's so much chemistry. It's almost like they were related or something.
Odd.
Anyway, getting back to our game, I'll cough to punctuate the return of normalcy here. And we're going to look. Let's take a look at, again, the CS numbers. A 50 CS gap between Jung and Stanley in favor of Jung. Stevie could be getting into something he doesn't want here. Oh, Jonathan's here. There goes the box down.
There goes the death box.
The opposing jungler is here. Sivir Yi is here. The Fed one. And putting a lot of damage onto Jonathan. Jonathan, nice mechanics. Picks up the kill. But he will get picked up in return. Exceptional now getting down around half HP, but
I was expecting things to go much worse for Sivir not Sivir Tibbers, but for Jung because of Sivir Tibbers being right there. But there he goes. Sivir Tibbers taken down by Calby.
Calby doing a good job using that Deathfire Grasp of his to put some work in on the opposing team. Of course, his clone was not so lucky. Instantly nuked by Delirious Korean.
And that's a good amount of shutdown gold towards LeBlanc, which is not somebody you want a lot of gold on at all. That's going to be nasty.
That certainly is not. Of course, I mean, Delirious still had like a rough enough time in this mid lane already. I mean, he really doesn't need more problems. He's got 99 problems, and LeBlanc is pretty much all of them. But again, I mean, look at these. The CS numbers are pretty much even across the board. We got 20 creep difference between Delirious and Colby in favor of Delirious, but this 50 CS gap between Stanley and Jung is going to be where North Korea makes their money as they dive on the QQ.
There goes
Jonathan again getting into something he doesn't want, and that's a lot of damage onto him. He will go down. A third member here now. The Bork out, flash out from Diddley Hole. He's going to play the retreating game, but Colby is lurking. Colby leaning around the corner saying, can I do something? Do I want to do something? But a word will spot him out.
Even with a lot of bad going down on Undecided bottom lane, they are very ahead, and they're showing it on all the other lanes.
That's true. This might be a dragon, though, over in favor of North Korean gaming. They will pick it up, and they will split a dragon for the first time, but Exceptional will pay with his life. Gold on to 3 members of Undecided. The kill going over to Stevie, and a nice
and a lot of assist gold going out.
That is a lot of assist gold. AD Carry's not really being the playmakers this game. It's really been the junglers running around the map making big plays happen. Or should I say jungler?
Speaking of which, Sivir Tibbers landing a stun right on Diddley Hole.
And that's a rough day for Mundo. Diddley Hole just really got messed up on that one. And there's the dive on bottom lane onto Jung. Great tower aggro juggling coming out from Stevie and Stanley. They really did a good job there.
Calby just went down to Sivir Tibbers as well. Back on top lane. Things are going crazy all over the place right now. I need QQs coming in fast, though.
Ooh, Assault and Battery coming out from Jonathan. He almost takes out Sivir Yi, but then I Need a QQ shows up, and, well, I mean, Punk Rock Girl is pretty awesome, but because he's not using the Goggle Toggle skin, he has no defense against the dragon.
You gotta toggle your goggles.
If you don't toggle your goggles, well, I really don't know what you're doing with your life. You should probably sit down and rethink your league career. But I'm sorry, that was harsh. We love you. We love you, Jonathan. We love you. Oh, Jonathan.
Oh, Jonathan.
It's
Now
addicting,
we've got,
isn't it?
It is. I'm kind of ashamed, but at the same time very excited.
See, now you're part of the club. Anyway, back to whatever you were saying. What were you saying?
Pressure
before?
on mid lane is happening after that lull, because Delirious Korean was taking a while to get back to his lane. Probably trying to figure out what the hell he's gonna buy to stop this scaling LeBlanc.
Well, there's a lot of damage. I mean, as strong as LeBlanc is right now, it looks like the 12-1-4 at least is actually stronger. I mean, you saw him just get chunked. Kali just got chunked there by Sivir Yi.
And the scariest thing about Elise is even when silenced, when she can't cast any of her spells, her auto attacks are still gonna do damage, especially with Spiderlings out.
The Spiderlings got nerfed a little while back, and that was mainly because they did do so much damage. Really a good point there. As QQ going to rotate down to this mid lane. This looks like it may be the old, what I like to call the old Bronze Elo solo queue win maneuver, where you take everybody in mid lane and you just sort of run down it and hope you can siege correctly. Let's see if they can pick one up here.
They had very decent siege, and they have good dive, but LeBlanc has amazing clear. I don't know if they're going to be able to have enough minions to siege.
Not to mention Caitlyn and even Thresh, both of them bringing a lot to the table in terms of wave clear utility.
Oh, definitely.
But let's see, they're going to keep bronzing it up here. Let's see if they can make a play here. I don't know whether or not you noticed that beautiful ward onto the trap, but they're going to engage. North Korean Gaming going in onto this one. They try to catch Sivir Yi Tibbers, but he lives through it, and there's a lot of damage going down, but nobody's dying. Two-man Solar Flare down. Diddley Hole looking like he's in trouble. He goes down. Down goes Stevie and
Jonathan
QQ
flashes
though, but
just
oh my
out
goodness,
there
this
in time.
Tristana Stanley is just sitting there pew-pewing from the back lines. He'll pick up exceptional
Delirious
as well.
Korean tried to land a Q onto LeBlanc, but Calvi got away with 60 HP.
That is absolutely horrifying. That has to be one of the worst feelings in the human spectrum of feels.
Blow your flash. See this thing flying through the air going, I know I got that kill, because that's not a skill shot. And then it all goes to waste.
Well, there's Assault and Battery on a Stanley. Can he kite this one out? There's a LeBlanc in the area. This could end very poorly for him. But here,
there's Delirious.
Stanley barrier. Oh no, Jonathan's going to go down. Delirious going to pick up that kill, and Calby trying to follow up here. In goes the dash. He's just, yep, man, the little Death Fire Grasp. But here's Sivir Yi Tibbers. They're all coming in here one at a time. It could be the I think I can mentality. But it looks like Sivir Yi will say, no, wait, guys, stop. I've seen this happen on LCS far too many times. We're not going to do this.
Meanwhile, top lane is pushing very hard, all on its own. Diddley Hole is going to have to break away from the pack, go farm that up for a little bit, push it back.
Well, the mid-outer tower going to fall in favor of NKG. That will be just their second tower this game. 4-2 in towers, and a 5,000 gold deficit in favor of Undecided this game. They're up 10 kills. I mean, it's looking good if you're an Undecided fan, if they have fans.
Oh, yeah. I assume they have fans. Like, you know, your mom.
I'm
your
sure
dad.
there's a mother cheering out there somewhere. Sitting on her special Undecided Gaming seat cushion with her Undecided Gaming Gatorade bottle.
Well, after this, I'm certainly a fan.
They've played really well in this. They've actually done a very good job. That first game was ugly.
Things get turned around quickly in League of Legends.
Oh, and here they go. They're speeding into the mix. Here's the Zenith Blade. Beautiful fade from Exceptional. And the DFG pop. There's a Solar Flare onto two members. Oh, Jonathan and Calby in trouble with this. Looks like it's just going to be a funky little fight. Diddley Hole going to whoop into the middle of the opposing team. He's going to go down very quickly. He dies. That kill picked up by Sivir Yi. Another kill picked up. I need a QQ getting Exceptional. And lots of damage coming down all over the place here, but Stevie getting picked up here by Calby, but I mean, Sivir Yi is just too big.
I don't know if you saw that, but Stanley got away with absolutely no health, landed right in the middle of Wraiths, and immediately started farming because he needed to lifesteal or the Wraiths would kill him. And he
Really
did, he managed
good
it.
heads-up play. And, ooh! Ooh! He just got to... Colby just got to Sivir Yi as Sivir Yi was backing.
There it goes.
Oh, and there's the snipe. Goodbye, Delirious Korean. I don't know what made him delirious, but he might want to invest in something that will make him less so that he...
Becoming delicious.
He's less delirious now. I ate a snack. He's less delicious now. But maybe he'll be delicious again by the end of the game. But we do have another dragon here going over to Undecided. That will make the dragon count 2-1 in favor of Undecided. That's a lot of money, dragon. Of course,
Nearly
the gold
an 8K
does scale.
gold gap.
The gold does scale. That's a 6K gold gap.
I'm bad with math.
You were a journalism major. I was a history major. Neither of us can do math. I've already screwed up numerous times on stream. Don't worry. Just you're part of the club now.
Yes.
We need to get a math major to do color commentary. That's what we need to do. Replace us both with math majors.
I don't know if anybody wants to get regaled with numbers. Lots of numbers.
It wouldn't be lots of numbers. I mean, we'd be making a sacrifice to make sure we get the gold counts right.
This is true. Everybody needs to know the gold count that they can clearly see on the screen.
And I mean, I'm sure that they can come up with some sort of formula that does winning percentages, or like the percentage of chance that these guys win, or what have you. Well,
you were wondering about sieging. Here it is. This is their attempt at sieging, and they were quickly pushed away. Seems like Undecided, although with good siege potential, just can't keep up with that clear potential coming out of NKG.
Well, I had been praising Jonathan's jungle earlier, but he's having a real rough game. 3-7-4 so far. I mean, after that first Lee Sin game, I don't know if the rookie magic was still there.
I mean, sometimes you have a really good game and your body's just, your mind more so is just like, okay, that's it. I'm done now.
I've had a couple of those. I've had a couple of those.
I've had a couple dozen.
You still have a mind left after that?
Pretty sure I was catatonic for a week at one point. Way too much League of Legends.
I think I remember that week. Yeah, the liquor store made some money that week, I think, if I remember correctly. But back to League of Legends.
It looks like top lane might be going down.
Top lane, we got a backing Thresh. He looks just gorgeous right now, heading back to base. Good job, exceptional. Your animation is truly, truly outrageous.
Diddlyhole just got caught over by Baron.
Yeah, Diddly in bad shape here. Nice solar flare to land on him, but they burned a lot of ultimates on that Mundo. I don't know if they have enough juice
and Tristana has
fight.
Healing mitigation, which is just what they need.
Well, they are doing... This is true. Tristana actually a very good counter pick to Mundo. As Sivir Yi going to jump in onto Jong. Jong in very bad shape. He's eating a lot of damage. He'll have to flash out, but now Jonathan in the back line fighting Stanley, but he just doesn't have the juice to win this one, and now it's a close one. It's 3v3.
Ow,
Two kills going over here.
Nearly nothing, and now
for exceptional. Stevie now caught out. He's the man with a plan, but Delirious Korean got a two-shot.
Ace in the hole. Thread the needle. Thread the needle.
That looked like a Peyton Manning touchdown pass, threading right past Delirious Korean into the kisser of Sivir Yi. And that's going to be a 3-for-3 in total. So pretty even fight there.
A very brilliant turnaround by NKG. I thought for sure that things were going to go very well in Undecided's favor, but that wasn't the case.
Well, we certainly have the issue of they had to burn so many ultimates on Mundo to lock him down and kill him.
Late game Mundo is one of the reasons it's getting banned so frequently. It's you just can't kill it anymore.
You really can't, and I mean, especially with the Perseverance mastery in lane, he just is so hard to push out of lane too. I mean, so much health regen on this champion. And now we can also see the Vampiric Scepter coming out here. Oh, Sivir Yi has found
Tivers.
exceptional.
Low in a flash.
But we do maybe have the buildings of the Bork as they go in on to Calby now and continue to deny me the right of speech, which I'm pretty sure is a First Amendment right. They bring down Calby, and this could be a middle inhibitor tower now.
That was at the cost of a solar flare that didn't get to hit a thing.
That is true. That solar flare, very important as they begin to siege this tower. A little bit of damage going down there, but Stanley is very low, but he does have that Vampiric Scepter and the heal from Kale. I need a QQ, gonna eat the ace in the hole. And
I'm not
just
really
move
sure
along.
where that ace in the hole was going in the first place. It might have just been, I don't know, spiteful harass.
Probably just trying to bring QQ down low enough that Undecided couldn't fight. But certainly, I think the sooner we see Blade of the Ruined King onto Tristana, the sooner Stanley picks up that item, the closer this game may be to its conclusion. Because once that happens, Dr. Mundo is going to just have a very, very, very bad life. Trying to dive that backline as Mundo is... It's hard enough already. You don't have a gap closer. You just sort of run around and make wooga booga noises and hope you don't die. But
let's talk about items for a moment, because not much is going on right now, and Dragon's about to come up again. Who really needs items?
well, we are seeing Mundo stacking a lot of magic resist. Only a Sunfire Cape for armor, so the sooner that Blade of the Ruined King is done, the more damage it's going to do. Of course, the Last Whisper already over onto Stanley. He also now has a Null Magic Mantle, a little bit of defense against Calby, keep him safe against that LeBlanc burst. I'm excited.
And there goes that ward. I thought that was very smart ward placement right there in the little corner of the right-hand side, but they saw through it.
Scumbag sweeping trinket every time. And here, this could be the Dragon over in NKG's favor. They brought this game back within 4K gold, and they're looking for a fight.
And 4K gold at 29-17 is very impressive. Should be a lot more if we're just talking kills.
Towers are still in the favor of Undecided, but they look like they're not 100% sure what they want to do here. It's tough to siege versus all this wave clear. I think they're going to probably have to force a Baron fight or something.
We definitely need to force something. They are slowly they're slowly scaling back up. Like, that Mundo is going to be quite a threat. Late game Vi is going to be extremely tanky and difficult to kill. And of course, Caitlyn, naturally, an ADC, slowly scaling up.
Yeah, speaking of that, Vi, actually, he's not building that tanky right now. He only has Banshee's Veil as a tankiness item. He picked up a Brutalizer and a Giant's Belt, but, I mean, he's mostly built damage. And at 3, 8, and 6, I'm not sure he'll survive more of these backline dies.
Interesting. Yeah, this Vi's only sitting at about 3,000 health right now, a little bit under. Which is still quite a lot of health for somebody who is building more on the damage side.
That is true, and Vi does get a shield whenever she goes and uses one of her abilities and lands it, so certainly never... You have a bit of leeway in that respect.
We'll have to see how things go with either against this heavy front line or a much more dive-centric team. Indeed. Coming out of Undecided.
We should also note that Undecided... Sivir Yi has 5 out of 6 item slots filled, the 6th one filled with a ward. He's got Sorcerer's Shoes, Ancient Golem's Spirit, the Sunfire Cape, Ryla's Crystal Scepter, and Leandri's Torment. Lots of magic penetration and percent magic damage coming out from him, along with tons of tankiness. I mean, he's got 3,500 health.
That is a very, very tanky Elise. And I do have to add, I told you so. About that Spirit of the Ancient Golem.
This is true. Here we go. Stevie getting caught out here, and this could be the fight that NKG is looking for, but the kills are going back and forth here. One over to Delirious Korean, one over to O. Jonathan.
Trying to get
John getting killed by Stanley. This could be the turning point, and Calby getting taken down there. Also, by Stanley. Lots of damage now going down onto Exceptional. Sivir Yi falls in the background to Joe Jonathan, but, I mean, triple kill over
quadra kill for
That's the quadra kill, and, well, hashtag late game tryst, I guess.
I do have to add, they totally ignored Jonathan for the entirety of that fight until the very end. Jonathan was a little bit out of place, and he pretty much got ignored.
He picked up 2 kills as well in that fight, but this is still going to cost NKG an upper inhibitor. And will they actually take it? They will. They will. They baited us a little bit.
A little bit. Sometimes you just want to kind of leave it there and go, let the minions take it. But at tournament play like this, I don't think anybody's going to risk being spiteful or showboating.
Well, honestly, usually you leave minions up so that it denies your opponent CS and experience, but that's an early laning phase kind of mechanic, and inhibitors, as we both know, don't do any damage, so it doesn't really do much for you to leave that inhibitor up. But here we go, the Baron sweep coming out from Stevie, looking to ensure that there are no wards of this pit. Oh, diddly hole. Again in a bad place. Other note, Guardian's Angel completed onto Stanley, so this next fight going to be very key, actually. Kalbi is trying to bait this one. A bit of a standoff. This looks like Berlin in the Cold War, but they are going to go into Jonathan. A lot of damage going down onto him. Solar Flare lands onto 2 people. Cleanse coming out from Jung, who has built a Quicksilver Sash, and Diddly Hole could be in a lot of trouble. Diddly Hole goes down. Delirious Korean picks up that kill. They are motioning onto Jung. Jung now in a lot of trouble, but a great Lantern!
Thresh Lantern actually did pull Diddly Hole out, and I'm not sure that was the best idea. They could have left him in there, had a little bit more of a front line, not to get harassed, because Diddly Hole rushed straight back in, and by then everybody else had backed out, because, again, they didn't have a front line.
Well, this looks like it will be the Baron play now over for Stanley and Co., or should I say Sivir Yi and Co. Exceptional and Jonathan looking to contest this one. They may try to smite steal it. Stevie and QQ, though, going to run interference. They will pick up the Baron, and now Jonathan in a lot of trouble. This is a lot of damage coming from Stanley, and that's the kill for Stanley. That's his 10th. He's now in double digits here.
You keep saying Stan Lee, and I keep thinking Spider-Man. Spider-Man, many other Marvel.
God.
Just have to do it. I'm just saying.
And there is a Spider-Woman on their team. I mean, that's just so much.
It's just
so much you can do with that.
Uncanny.
Uncanny resemblance here. It's Exceptional gonna jump on towards Stanley, but he's got a rocket jump, and he's a rocket girl, and he's gonna get out of there. Completely fine. Unscathed. They couldn't quite get an objective off of that fight, but they did get the Baron. Very important. Lots of nice combat stats and plenty of moolah coming off of that play. They are now up 10,000 monies.
We've got a lot of mana regen going on Delirious Korean, plus the natural cooldowns, and that's going to be really important in the next fight.
Oh, they found Exceptional. He got too close to the wall. He goes down. Sivir Yi picks up that kill. This will be the tower, likely. And could it be the inhibitor? Oh, a nice Zenith Blade on the Kalbi, but a nicer dash to get away. And now Diddly Hole going to run interference in the middle of the enemy team. Sivir Yi rappelling up into the sky, trying to dodge some damage. Korean going to eat the chain, and he will not eat a second one. Nope, he will not. That's a second inhibitor, and this is just the systematic dismantling of the North Korean gaming base.
Top lane is pushing as well right now. They have a lot to worry about on North Korean game's side.
Well, we're now up to 8-2 in towers in favor of Undecided, and QQ says, come on, man, let's keep going. Let's keep rolling out the barrel. We'll have a barrel of fun, even though they banned Gragas. And Kalbi's just going to jump in the middle of 2 people, and he's going to get jumped back on in return.
That was a beautiful Zenith Blade, but all alone. Stevie's all alone right now. He will get away. Just such a tanky Leona.
The important thing is they did pop Stanley's GA there, so Stanley probably going to play a little bit more scared for the next 5 minutes. That was an action-packed few minutes, and they're now going to rotate over to Dragon. They say, well, one objective, you've seen them all, might as well take them all. That's a dragon. And this game looking like it might just be in hand, but NKG not done yet. They're pushing down mid.
They're
They could be
initiating
in
no
trouble
LeBlanc.
now.
LeBlanc is top lane.
That Zenith Blade missing its mark, and yeah, that would have been a great fight for them.
That would have been it.
Colby was up in topside, farming.
That's always one of the main problems with leaving you. You always want your carries to catch up. You want them to go farm and get as much damage as they can for the next fight, but if that next fight comes and they're still farming, you're in trouble.
Well, they did pick up that top tower. That top tower finally fell.
43 minutes in.
I think Colby and Exceptional just tried an experiment to see if Colby could grab the lantern and go back to base.
Huh.
But they failed. The experiment failed.
Normally those things are done in custom games. Pretty sure.
Yeah, typically you see those in custom games.
Just
but I mean, of course, they have a little bit of space. They had no vision, but they had some space. They took the tower down. That's just
it would have been a hell of a discovery if it happened.
Well, I'm glad they made that discovery, because I was just wondering whether or not that would be a thing. And here we go. Looks like this could be the inhibitor contestant. Oh, Stevie just gets insta-gibbed.
That is a lot of
Colby there. That was Unreal Tournament 2004 style, just insta-gibbed. Wow. Stevie's pretty tanky, too. He's got a lot of tanky stats.
And a lot of MR, right? Yeah, a decent amount of MR.
Surprising to see him go down that quickly. Well, he's certainly going to pick up more MR now. I would bet good money on that. But here we go with a 5-man push down the mid lane. Coming out from our group of intrepid adventurers. NKG, maybe they can pick up a tower here. Oh, this tower's very low. They will probably pick it up. And they might turn this game on its head. They're closing the gap, but it is still about 10,600 gold, so...
There also is a very large minion wave pushing top at right now. It doesn't have the advantage of having a cannon minion, but it might get there eventually.
Well, the two inhibitors are both going to respawn soon now. The top one's already down, or the top one's already back, and a lot of blue pings going down onto that one. Undecided, probably going to focus on that moving forward here. Stanley did exchange his GA for a Banshee's Veil that will allow him to withstand some of the initial poke and abilities coming out, and they will pick up this middle inhibitor, and looks like they're going to try and rotate. They're going to rotate to the top lane now.
And there goes that Banshee's Veil going down to a trap. I don't think he expected that to happen.
And here comes a hook from Exceptional. It's going to miss, and a flay backwards. Colby getting into the mix. He took a lot of damage there, and now Sivir Yi diving onto him. He can't quite get the kill. There's a lot of chaos here. The box is down. Sivir Yi flashing back out, but Delirious Korean is unstoppable even as Jonathan picks up a kill onto him, and now Jonathan is behind enemy lines, and we all know what happened to the paratroopers at Market Garden. They all went down fighting. Diddley Hole trying to play defense here with Colby, but they are both in deep trouble here, especially Diddley. He is taking a lot of damage, but it looks like Undecided's going to ignore the Mundo and the LeBlanc and just try to end this game. This could be the series in favor of Undecided Gaming. They will be moving on to the championship round.
The giant purple thing exploded.
Indeed it did. Your powers of observation continue to amaze me. What a game, though, from Undecided. Coming back from that first game slump, they really got dismantled and just really beating NKG at their own game.
It's definitely as if they said, alright, we know these guys' strategies now let's give them a taste of their own medicine. Because by game 3, it was all about those objectives, and you really saw it. You saw lots of objective control, junglers all over the place, and NKG didn't know what to do, seeing their own playstyle used against them like that.
They had such a big issue dealing with those dragon fights, and really they were quite lane dominant for the most part across the board. It was really just illusion that was Sivir Yi Tibbers taking over that early and middle game and helping carry his team to the late game where Stanley could just sit back and win. We were wondering how they would get there, how they could elongate that game. A 12-1 Elise is a pretty easy way to do that.
Certainly is.
Well, this was a truly fantastic series. We'd like to thank both teams for coming out here. Of course, Undecided Gaming will move on to the finals. They will be waiting for their championship opponent to fight their way through the remainder of the losers bracket. NKG will drop to that losers bracket and try to fight their way back to the championship to maybe get a little bit of sweet, sweet revenge on their opponents. But that's all we have for you guys today. We hope you enjoyed this series, and I am Comrade Kilbasa. This is an unused name, aka Stallard. We are signing off. Say goodbye to the nice people, Stallard.
Goodbye, nice people. Goodbye.
Goodbye, nice people.